And we are live. Welcome to Tonight in America. I'm your host, Dontarius Jones. I want to welcome everyone back to a Monday. Well, it's Tuesday now since it's 12 at midnight. But I want to welcome everyone back to the show. We have an exciting show to you. Our top story tonight is we're talking about the Gaza peace deal that just went down, where a bunch of hostages were traded from both sides, from Israel and Hamas, just today. We're going to cover that, cover Trump's press conferences, his arrival to Gaza, his two press conferences that he had today at a peace summit and also at the Knesset. Then we're going to go over about why this should have been taken care of years. Like, we are years late. This should have been taken care of back around 2023. The war should have never gotten this bad. The mass starvation, bombings indiscriminately, burnings, none of this should have never gotten to this point. None of it. This should have been a done deal years ago. But as you know, Israel has broken so many ceasefires over time. So it's very obvious that they're not looking for peace at all. Like, they've violated 965 ceasefires, and they've had 11 times to get the hostages back, which we have a video that we'll watch. Whereas this, like I said, this should have been a done deal already. Even during the Biden administration, this should have already been taken care of. But of course, because of what we're dealing with, this was is just now getting finished. Hopefully. I'm not even optimistic that the war is not even over with, because I think there's there's other details that were discussed, but yet we still don't have full transparency on them, especially when it comes to Hamas disarming and leaving the Gaza Strip. We don't know anything about that yet, because all we know is the hostages were came back from both sides to Israel and to the Palestinians, but we don't know yet about the Hamas disarming itself and leaving Gaza. But Trump has said that he is willing to give them amnesty and allow them to stay as long as they're not in power, and a new technocratic Palestinian authority comes in and takes over and governs Gaza under the control of the Trump administration. So that is what it's been. That is what is on this deal. But again, we still don't have full transparency yet. So all we're seeing is the first phrase of the deal, where they're trading the hostages, and also Hamas is giving up the dead Israelis that have died in their care. They have four. I know four has arrived already in Israel. I don't know if the other ones have arrived just yet. But we're gonna cover all of it. But want to remind you to smash the like button, like the video, share the video, give me a feedback and let me know how you guys love tonight's episode. First time being back in a week. Last episode I had was literally last Monday. I was supposed to be back the next day, but yeah, so schedule conflicts came up. So, but everyone's got to bear with me. I'm working the job, whatever. Unless we need. This is why I always tell people: like the video, comment, push the, share with your friends, get someone to come watch the show. Let's get YouTube to monetize me so I can get paid. I don't like working a job, but unfortunately, if you guys want me to do this every day, so where I could be here now, I need you guys to like the video and subscribe. But I digress. So, what else? What else? What's going on this week? Oh, Trump did put 100% tariffs on China. I did see that. We might cover that tomorrow. Right now, this Gaza peace deal is more important right now. Is more important to discuss. So we're gonna jump right into it. Oops. Let me bring up my windows. All right. As you can see, this is from Reuters. Israel and Hamas agreed on Wednesday to the first phase of U.S. President Donald Trump's plan for Gaza, a ceasefire and hostage deal that could open the way to ending a bloody 2 year bloody 2-year-old war that has upended the Middle East. Really, this has been going on far longer than 2 years, but for the purpose of this video, we're gonna say this 2-year war. This has really been going on since the Jews started arriving in Palestine way back in the 1900, way back in the 1910s. Just a day after the second anniversary of Hamas militants' cross-border attack that triggered Israel's devastating assault on Gaza, indirect talks in Egypt yield an agreement on the initial stage of Trump's 20-point framework to bring peace to Palestinian enclave. So, like I said, this peace deal is well overdue. It should have been handled years ago. The war should have never drag on this long, but of course, we all know the agitators, we all know the bad faith actors that were not willing to commit to peace, but instead committing to a genocide. So as you can see right here, this is from Wikipedia. On October 3rd, 2025, in response to a proposal, Hamas agreed to release any remaining hostages in Gaza and hand over the administration of the Gaza Strip to a Palestinian body of independent technocrats. Though it did not agree to disarm or forego influence in Gaza, this is what I mentioned earlier. This is like they have agreed to the first phase. They have not agreed to disarm or leave the Gaza Strip just yet. We still don't have full transparency about that. But as the Wikipedia article goes on, in response to a CNN reporter's question about what would happen if Hamas insists on remaining in power, and Trump said the group would face complete obliteration. Well, if we're talking in politics terms, as in he's going to allow Israel to keep indiscriminately bombing the Gaza Strip, which is like 98% of the infrastructure is all gone. It's literally just all rubble, all dust. Like it's completely destroyed. There's nothing really left there. Hamas fighters have suffered major losses throughout this war. Yahya Sinwar, the main notable one, also with some diplomats who also lost their life. You know, there's been a lot of casualties on the end of Hamas. But it's mainly also been a lot of casualties on the end of the Palestinians who's also lost their lives, whether it be to indiscriminately bombing, shooting, being shot while trying to go and get food for their starving children. Massive, just bombings, like I said, shootings, burnings, starvations, famine, literally sickness. Literally, they couldn't even get aid. The Red Crescent couldn't even come in there to give aid to Palestinians, and they were dying. Some of them were dying of diseases. That's how bad it was. Videos, thousands upon thousands of videos on X showing you exactly what is going on. This has been dubbed by Holocaust experts, by genocide experts, that this whole war, which you can call it that, this whole war is a genocide in front of our eyes. So it's not wrong to sit here and say what happened to these people, because look, I'm right wing, of course, and I care about America first. I care about my country first and foremost. But the indiscriminately bombings, the starvations, the inhumane, uncaring, demonic demeanor of the IDF after they have carried out all this insane warfare, insane evilness, is just, it brings a question of like morality into this stuff. Like morally, this was just hard to watch and just hard to look at, because you saw so many parents holding their dead kids in their arms that are not Hamas fighters at all. According to Israel, majority of all Palestinians are Hamas, including women and children that are not active militia fighters. And they're the ones being targeted, being killed. Turn off my phone for a minute. So this whole 2 year war, if you could even want to even label this, was nothing but just a full on slaughter fest. That's all it was. It was complete and utterly one sided slaughter. Yes, Hamas got some wins here and there, but for the most part, the IDF was just cleaning house. And it wasn't just of the soldiers, it was of the Palestinian people that had nothing to do with nothing to do with Hamas. They bombed hospitals, they bombed schools, they bombed regular buildings, they bombed heavy populated areas where they had intel that Hamas fighter was in the crowd, but instead of going in there and strategically taking them out, they indiscriminately just blow them all to smithereens because there was a Hamas fighter allegedly in that area, and instead of just going out there and just using, say, the Mossad, they just say, hey, look, we're just gonna bomb the whole thing. So this whole conflict should have been ended in 2023. It should never even drug out. It should never even dragged out to the point where it's been what 3 years now, and we just now got a peace deal done. I'll give Trump credit that yes, I'm glad that this peace deal is done. But how can we really know for sure that this is the end of this suffering? How can we know for sure? Israel has violated 965 ceasefires. Exactly. There was 11 times where this conflict should have been ended. But the point of the matter is that it still just kept going. And we don't even know for sure is this even over with for sure. The first phase is done. The hostages are free from Hamas's captive, and also all the Palestinians, which goes into the thousands, are now free and back in Palestine. After most of them were arrested and for no charge at all and held without being prosecuted of any charge, without being indicted or nothing. They literally IDF just picked them up and took them as prisoners and brought them back, and literally held them in chains, held them behind bars without even being charged with any crime. No, their charge was that they were just Palestinians. That's just what it seems like to me. So on October the 8th, Trump announced that Israel and Hamas had reached an agreement and signed the first phase of the deal. Under this phase, all living hostages are to be released in exchange for 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, including 250 serving life sentences within 72 hours, and Israel will also withdraw its forces to pre-designated lines within the Gaza Strip. The ceasefire went into effect on October 10th. So if you look at the map on the map of Gaza, there is a hold on, I can show you better than I can tell you. So I'm gonna look for where is that line at. Go down. This right here is probably the article where I was reading the other day because it has a map. Probably not. Let me see. So they're on the map. They have a line drawn in the area where the IDF is going to withdraw its troops to over that line. But I don't know. Let me see if I can find it so I can show you guys where exactly the IDF is supposed to cross over to. Let me pull my ugly mug up here for a minute and while I look for it. Anyways, the point of, like I said, the IDF is supposed to withdraw its troops. Hold on a sec. So the IDF is supposed to withdraw its troops over a line. As a matter of fact, I'll look up a YouTube video because I have the perfect video that I want to show. Make sure to like the video too as well. All right, so this is a video for AI.
This Gaza peace.
This is from AI Telly. It's going to show you the line exactly where the IDF is supposed to withdraw its troops to. So like I said, October 8th, Trump announced that Israel and Hamas had reached an agreement and signed the first phase of the deal. Under this phase, all living hostages are to be released in exchange for 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, including 250 serving life sentences. That is Hamas members and militia members. Within 72 hours, and Israel would also withdraw its forces to pre-designated lines within the Gaza Strip. The ceasefire went into effect on October 10th. Just to finish off that. So I'm going to show you the pre-designated lines that the Wikipedia article is talking about. It's going to be in this video right here. Gaza peace plans, will it hold? That's a good question.
This Gaza peace plan is divided into 3 phases. Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3. More detail, all in the video ahead. In the first phase of the Gaza peace plan, highlighted by the yellow outline on the map, Israeli forces begin pulling out of several populated areas so that they control only about half of Gaza. This reduction comes as a hard-won ceasefire finally silences the bombs and artillery. During this period, hostage exchanges take place. The Gaza militants starts by releasing some Israeli hostages, while Israel responds by freeing nearly 1,900 Palestinian prisoners in exchange for 48 hostages. However, for the earliest stage, only about 20 prisoners may be released. This is where humanitarian aid begins to pour into Gaza. Around 400 trucks enter each day, helping reopen bakeries and hospitals. This surge in supplies allows many displaced families to return home, and with airstrikes paused, international organizations are able to distribute food and medicine more freely than before. As trust starts to build, the second phase is set in motion. Israeli forces withdraw even further and now govern just 40% of Gaza. At this stage, Hamas releases the remaining 28 living Israeli hostages, while Israel lets go of about 1,000 additional Palestinian prisoners, many of whom were detained after the October 7 attack. At the same time, political reforms get underway. Gaza's administration shifts temporarily to a group of technocrats.
Also, I'm going to play a video after this that's going to recap all of October 7, and we're going to also cover the lies about why was it that Hamas did invade Israel. Why did they invade Israel? Was it because they were just terrorists and they wanted to just take a bunch of Israelis? No, there's way more to that. So we're going to cover it on this one too as well. But we're going to watch this right here just so you get the idea of where exactly does the IDF have to relocate themselves to. They're not exactly leaving the Gaza Strip. They're just getting to a pre-designated line for this part of the phase agreement. But that's only if Hamas agrees to disarm, which we still have no clue if they're going to even adhere to that. They adhere to the release of the hostages along with the Palestinians that were in prison. But we don't know for sure yet if they're gonna fully just give up their weaponry and just leave.
Backed by the international community to ensure fair and neutral governance. The work increasingly focuses on rebuilding basic infrastructure, restoring power, reliable water, and safe living conditions. In the final phase and third phase, here as you can see is the smallest zone, that is the white line. The last Israeli troops exit most of Gaza, retaining control over roughly 15% along the border. Deceased hostages and prisoners are repatriated. Here blockades and restrictions are lifted, allowing unrestricted aid and goods. Gaza moves towards stable civilian rule, free of conflict and occupation. The roadmap isn't simple. Even after all these changes, Israel will maintain control over key areas marked by a white line on the map. so a large part of Gaza remains under some level of Israeli authority, even as the peace plan tries to offer a real path forward for millions of people worn down by years of conflict and shifting front lines. But if this plan collapses like others have before, Israel is prepared to use force to retake Gaza, and the cycle of violence could begin all.
Also, I don't mean it. Again, this is the last time I interrupt. So I'm gonna probably pre-record tomorrow's episode. We're gonna react to Max Blumenthal's documentary about October 7th, where he debunks a bunch of the lies about the beheaded babies, mass grapes, babies in ovens. I'm gonna pre-record myself reacting to that documentary tonight, and I'm gonna post it at 8 p.m. tomorrow for instead of me going live tomorrow, because I might be busy tomorrow and I probably won't be able to go live, but instead I'm just going to pre-record tomorrow's episode tonight and just post it tomorrow.
All over again. But why Israel has not managed to defeat the militant group for the past 3 years? Here's how their strategy has shifted. The militant group has moved away from traditional battlefield tactics and embraced a decentralized insurgent style of warfare. With many of its top commanders killed and its
I'm going to speed it up to 1.5.
Command centers destroyed, the group now relies on small, autonomous units operating independently. These compartmentalized cells are much harder for Israeli forces to detect and eliminate, allowing for a more agile and unpredictable approach. Guerrilla tactics have become the new standard. Ambushes, sniper fire, IED attacks, and hit-and-run raids are now their primary methods of engagement. Rather than engaging in direct confrontations, these units use Gaza's dense urban landscape to strike Israeli forces and quickly disappear before a counterattack can be launched. This decentralized structure not only keeps operations going, but also ensures that even if senior leaders are...
As you can see, Hamas they're not a traditional warfare army. They're a little small militia that use guerrilla warfare tactics. They give out surprise attacks to the IDF. Whereas the IDF is a traditional army that fights traditional warfare. Hamas, not so much. They're more of a catch you when you're off guard type of militia group.
Are lost, the group can continue to wage its fight on multiple fronts. Despite the devastation of much of its weapons manufacturing infrastructure, Hamas has managed to salvage and repurpose equipment. Tools and components recovered from damaged tunnels and factories have allowed limited production to resume. They are once again building rockets, anti-tank missiles like the Kornet and Qassam rockets, and improvised explosive devices IED, which we will discuss further in the video on how they are made. These unexploded Israeli munitions are often converted into makeshift explosives for IED weapons. To create a psychological warfare, even under Israeli military oversight, short-range rockets are still being fired from within Gaza to create chaos. They managed to fight on because of the group's tunnel network remains a cornerstone of its strategy. Although Israeli forces have destroyed up to 85% of the tunnels in critical areas like Rafah and Khan Yunis, Hamas still retains hundreds of miles of underground passages. This is a basic timeline of what started this endless war in the Middle East without taking sides. Let's take a look at what happened in the recent past couple of years. 2023, October 7 massacre. Hamas, the Iran-backed group controlling Gaza, launched a surprise attack on over 20 Israeli communities. The assault was strategically executed using a combination of rockets, paragliders, motorcycles, and other vehicles to penetrate Israel Defense Forces. This coordinated attack aimed to cause maximum disruption and casualties within a short period of time. The sudden escalation of violence also drew Hezbollah, the largest non-state actor in the Middle East, into the conflict from Lebanon. Let's dive into the details of how the attack on Israel happened into 4 simplified parts of the operations. Part 1. In the initial phase of the operation, the stage was set for a dramatic and intense start. At around 6:30 in the morning, a staggering 3,000 rockets was launched from Gaza. This onslaught featured a wide array of rockets, including the distinctive homemade Qassam and the potent Iranian-made Fajr rockets. The Iron Dome missile defense system sprang into action to counter almost 60% of the rockets, animated in our recent video. Simultaneously, the skies near the border crackled with powered hang gliders and motorized paragliders and infiltrated the border. These unconventional flying machines serve as an unexpected element of surprise, challenging the air defense system. After the fighters aboard the hang gliders landed, they secured the surrounding terrain, enabling an elite commando unit to subsequently breach the fortified electronic and cement wall constructed by Israel. Part 2. At 7:30, a critical juncture of the operation unfolded as fighters executed a coordinated entry into Israeli territory near the Kerem Shalom crossing. This crossing held immense significance as it served as a pivotal checkpoint between Israel and Gaza, symbolizing a breach into the heart of Israeli territory. Simultaneously, another group of determined fighters launched an assault on Israel's Erez border crossing station. With calculated precision, they employed explosives to shatter the formidable barriers that had stood in their way. Following this daring act, they swiftly sped across the border on motorbikes. Further enhancing their advance, bulldozers were deployed to widen the gaps created by the explosive breaches, facilitating the influx of even more fighters. These additional reinforcements made their entry into Israeli territory aboard 4-wheel drives, steadily expanding their presence within the enemy's borders. The stage was set for a multifaceted and meticulously coordinated operation as they continued their mission deep within Israeli territory. Part 3. A commando unit attacked the Israeli army's southern Gaza headquarters and jammed its communications, thus preventing personnel from calling their commanders or each other. Part 4. The final part involved moving hostages to Gaza, mostly achieved early in the attack meant for a prisoner exchange. Israel then responded with airstrikes taking the lives of many Palestinians, both civilians and fighters. To help you understand the basic IDF strategy, let's divide Gaza into 5 parts. We start with North Gaza, then move on to Gaza, followed by Deir al-Balah, Khan Yunis, and finally Rafah and this crossing towards Egypt. And a quick recap. Since Hamas' attack on October 7th, the IDF has invaded Gaza from almost all sides by land, sea, and air. Firstly, invading Gaza from the north and progressing to central Gaza, while instructing Gazans to move to the south. There are various crossings that the IDF controls, mainly the Kerem Shalom, and Hamas controls Rafah. This is probably one of the last major crossings the IDF wants to clear and control since the rockets were fired from Rafah at its soldiers near the Kerem Shalom crossing.
Yeah, the Rafah burning was, they literally instructed a bunch of Palestinians to go to a certain spot, a certain tent in Rafah, to ensure their safety, and they literally set them on fire and watched a bunch of them burn. I talked about this on a previous episode. The Rafah burning was one of the worst incidents that really stuck with me, because it's literally on camera. You see the IDF instructing Palestinians, ensuring them that their safety is a priority, but instead they're leading them to their deaths. So that was one of the ones that kind of stuck with me the most.
But now here is the catch. Remember, IDF instruction to move to the south. Gazans are now instructed to move to humanitarian zones towards the north. We make original videos from scratch, so please do subscribe and hit the notification.
All right, so that was that. Now we're going to react to a video recapping October 7th. This one's a very good one. This is from Propaganda & Co. Father gave him a follow too, by the way. I love his channel. So we are about to...
Do you really know what happened on October 7th? You think you do, but believe me.
All right. So we're about to watch this video right here, recapping what happened on October 7th. So in case everyone forgot, we're going to go through this little video right here. This is only 14 and 43. So it's not going to be that long. 14 minutes and 43 seconds. I'm going to let this play. I'm going to step away and grab some water right quick, and I'll be right back.
Do you really know what happened on October 7th? You think you do, but believe me, you don't. You've been lied to. We all have. The Zionist media has presented this event to the world as a Holocaust against innocent civilians. But the story couldn't be more different. The Zionists have been lying because they are terrified of what actually happened. You see, October 7th is one of the biggest ongoing cover-ups in recent memory. A grand lie to distract you from the truth. And it's been working. People have either bought into the atrocity propaganda lies, or they're too busy trying to disprove it. Palestinians didn't behead babies, didn't put babies in ovens, didn't rape women, they didn't torture civilians. So many of us have been so focused on what didn't happen on October 7th. What we need to do now is focus on what did happen, because Israel is terrified of the truth. And I'll let you in on a little secret. The truth that I'm about to reveal to you is what will destroy the Zionist regime, that will free Palestine. Yes, it's that serious. By the end of this video, you will understand why. Now, let's get to it. What really happened on October 7th, and why has Israel tried to cover it up? The truth is that on October 7th, resistance fighters from Gaza carried out a daring military operation against a juggernaut, and they succeeded. Israel, in its hubris, had begun to believe that the Palestinian movement was uninterested in armed resistance. From within the confines of their concentration camps, underdogs from Gaza had to avoid detection from constant surveillance by satellites, informants, collaborators, motion detection and seismic sensors, and 24/7 monitoring by 2G phone networks, border cameras, and overhead drones. They undermined Israel's security apparatus by planning details on pen and paper, feeding false information to informants, and leveraged Israeli arrogance and complacency to plan and operate relatively undetected. In the early hours of October 7th, a blitz of over 2,200 rockets were fired at the Iron Dome missile defense system, but this was only truly meant to provide the cover needed to fly drones over the $1 billion Iron Wall and destroy the remote-controlled machine gun turrets and communication towers. They rammed through the first layer of the fence and then created over 20 separate breach points through the main iron wall. Their immediate objectives: take out important nearby command and control military sites, and do so as quickly as possible before the Israelis could respond. So they split into small divisions and raced to their targets. Speedboats raced across the ocean and onto the beaches of Sikkim, while paragliders flew over the wall and landed in various areas. Guys on beat-up motorcycles and pickup trucks used homemade anti-tank missiles to take out $3 million Merkava tank.
Again, it's been speculated for a while now. How did these guys were able to infiltrate a very heavily fortified place like the Israel border? Because I believe, from my understanding, those walls are heavily guarded. It's heavily guarded. There's no reason why these guys in these small little bikes, these outer shape ass tanks were able to get in. It's been speculated for a while. Was there a stand down order given to the IDF to allow them to infiltrate kidnap the hostages so they have an excuse to go and commit October 7th. It's been speculations about it. Me personally speaking, there is some questions about this. I'm not yet fully convinced until I see a little bit more. But right now, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a stand down order given to allow Hamas to infiltrate Israel and take the hostages. Again, they were never there to really kill. They weren't. Their intentions of taking the hostages wasn't for the intentions that the media is pushing out there. Their intentions for taking the hostages were for the simple purpose of a hostage trade deal. They wanted to trade the hostages that they took for the hostages that Israel already had, for all the prisoners, the life sentence prisoners that they have, and all the innocent Palestinians who were being held without charge. So again, I'm not a pro Hamas when I'm saying this. So if people are gonna get the wrong idea, I am not pro Hamas. What I'm giving a explanation for why they did what they did, not the media, not the media's propaganda story. Pretty much, you look further into it, Hamas is very clear on why they did what they did. They won on the hostage exchange, but they know they had no leverage unless they had hostages of their own. It's fairly simple.
Tanks and $20 million Apache helicopters. They conquered Ra'im military base, an important communications and drone surveillance headquarters, killing or capturing all the soldiers inside before destroying the server rooms. According to Scott Ritter, Hamas struck the headquarters of the Gaza division, the local intelligence hub, and other major command and control facilities with brutal precision, turning what should have been a 5-minute response time into many hours, more than enough time for Hamas to carry out one of its primary objectives, the taking of hostages, to use as exchange for the near 5,000 men, women, and
yeah, just like I said,
children rotting in Israeli administrative detention centers, returning to Gaza with more than 230 Israeli soldiers and civilians. The result was a complete rout of local Israeli military forces. For hours, the Israelis were completely in the dark, confused as to where the attack was even coming from. Thousands of rockets were in the air, dozens of bases and military settlements, aka kibbutz, were captured, and multiple helicopters and tanks were destroyed. The attack came so hard and so fast that many IDF soldiers were still in their pajamas as the resistance fighters entered the barracks. How could these half-starved and besieged fighters have the gall to escape their prison and carry out an attack like this? No one in Israel could have imagined it, let alone expect. Desperate to respond, the Israelis began to implement scorched earth tactics. Their helicopters began firing Hellfire missiles and machine gun rounds indiscriminately at vehicles and people running in the fields. Tanks rolled through the kibbutz and main roads and shelled houses as ground troops exchanged fire with militants. This led to the deaths of many civilians. It was the most humiliating defeat in Israel's history and has created an internal political crisis that could break the Israeli government for good. Netanyahu, desperate to hold on to power, is exchanging accusations with the military and intelligence apparatus, as neither want to take responsibility for the humiliating defeat. Tens of thousands of Israeli protesters are in the streets demanding that Israel agree to a hostage swap with the Palestinians in order to save their family.
And hold on, before we get back into it, why was it taking so long to get this hostage deal done? So this is an article in Times of Israel, which was published, let's see, what was the date on this? Let me go up here. This was published on 26 April 2024, last year. So we're going to skim through it. I'm just going to read this one interesting part right here. Why was Benjamin Netanyahu so adamant about not getting peace done? So this is a question asked to an Israeli activist who was very much outspoken to the Israeli government about wanting to get the hostage deal done soon as possible. And he did our interview with Times of Israel about this, when he spoke with them and said that Benjamin Netanyahu is literally playing around and not serious about getting a hostage deal done at all. And the reason for that is because the main reason is and I quote, the main reason is conflict of interest. He knows the moment that the hostages are released, Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben Gvir will leave the government because they think the price was too high. Finance Minister Smotrich, leader of the religious Zionism group, and National Security Minister Ben Gvir, head of the Ozama Yohida party, are far-right leaders essential to Netanyahu's coalition and have been pushing for stronger military action in Gaza. There is no doubt that Netanyahu is preventing a deal. Netanyahu knows that if he goes to elections at this time, he won't be able to form a new government, and he is motivated by cold political consideration. So this is very like important details that people need to understand. Netanyahu wasn't the only one. It was his two right and left hand men, Itamar Ben Gvir and Bezel Smotrich. These two right here are some of the most despicable human fucking beings I've probably ever seen in my life. These guys have no inhumane for nothing. If Benjamin Netanyahu took the deals that he was supposed to take, because 11 times Hamas has rejected peace deals, and each time they're rejected, it was because of three people: Smotrich, Ben Gvir, and Netanyahu. Those three right there never wanted peace. All they want is bloodshed. Itamar on his X account literally was in one of Israel's very harsh prisons where they committed mass rapes on Hamas prisoners or Palestinians, I believe. It's one of the two. But it was caught on camera on the Israeli news media outlet, where they caught one of some IDF soldiers committing raping a prisoner. If for anyone that doesn't understand what grape means, it's basically if you remove G with R, that's basically what I'm saying. Because I'm on YouTube, I can't say the R word. So, but these two right here, along with Netanyahu, never want peace. All they want is the destruction of Hamas and the Palestinians to be kicked out of their home and sent refuge to another country where they then could expand Israel into what they're dubbed as the Greater Israel Project, where it's a bigger Israel. That's partly the reason why they're bombing in Syria too as well. So these reasons alone is the reason why Israel is not pushing for peace, why they've rejected 11 times the hostages being returned, because they could have been done this right now. The first time there was a hostage deal on the table was October 9th, 2023. That they could have been had this deal done literally after the war just started. Or, my bad, not even a war, genocide. After this genocide just started. But no, because these guys are such bloodthirsty animals, they have no care in the world. This apartheid state literally just want to go out there and indiscriminately bomb a bunch of women, innocent women, children, and men. And now we're left with have to not only fund this crap, we have to put our taxpayer dollars on this. We're giving them the weapons to do it. My taxpayer dollars should not even be going to this crap right now. Neither should yours. Every time we have some bad war going on in the Middle East, every time we have a major conflict going on in the Middle East, it's always about Israel. It's never for the benefit of America, no, it's for the benefit of Israel. The war on terror. Osama bin Laden, weapons of mass destruction, waste of the time. No benefit at all in that. But as you can see, these three individuals, Smotrich, Ben Gvir, Netanyahu, no peace until they get what they want. I don't even think this peace deal is going to hold up, because these three are such bloodthirsty animals that they smell blood, they want to pounce like a vicious animal. So we're going to continue on right now with the video, but this is important details that people need to understand why we haven't gotten peace just yet.
Members. And the crisis is external as well. The Palestinians have reawakened a spirit of resistance in the face of an ongoing military occupation.
Resistance has proven its value. This is one of the chants we've been hearing from Palestinians here who have been protesting in support of the prisoners exchange deal.
The Israelis thought they could expand the illegal occupation, steal more land, build more settlements, erect more walls, arrest more children, increase surveillance, siege, starve, and bomb Gaza to hell, and desecrate the holy Al-Aqsa Mosque without any blowback or consequences. The Israelis implemented a policy of brutality and deterrence instead of one of peace, justice, and diplomacy, and it worked for a time. Palestinians had become complacent with the status quo, and the Muslim world was betraying the Palestinian cause and normalizing with Israel. But Hamas undermined all of this with their bold act of resistance on October 7th. The illusion of Israeli power has now been shattered. The veil has been lifted.
Power resides where men believe it resides. It's a trick, a shadow on the wall.
On October 7th, they exposed Israel's power for what it is, a trick, a shadow on the wall. And this terrifies Israel because despite all their wealth, power, and resources, they cannot defeat an opponent that won't go down. The Israelis were shocked on October 7th because they thought the fight was over. After 75 years of brutality, 75 years of occupation, of violence, they thought they had won. They thought the leadership of the Palestinian resistance had been cowed into submission. For all their walls, drones, bombs, sensors, radars, cameras, bullets, rockets, and jets, the Palestinian will to resist persists. It always has, and it always will. As Omar Mukhtar, the legendary resistance fighter, said, it's win or die, it's victory or martyrdom. This is a spirit that has reawakened in the Palestinians and their diaspora on October 7th. And this is why the Israelis are terrified.
There was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. One ant.
You're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boys, they're puny.
Puny. Say, let's pretend this brain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, this one.
Are you kidding?
How about this?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever
Shout out to Ants movie. I love that movie when I was a kid.
figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
This is why they have responded with a disgusting level of collective punishment. When the Romans wanted to quell the gladiator rebellion, they crucified over 6,000 slaves and lined their bodies up along the Appian Way. For 125 miles from Capua to Rome, travelers would see nothing but crucified bodies. Israel's trying to do the same, but with bombs instead of crucifixions. They want to make an example out of Palestinian resistance. They're trying to show the Palestinians in the West Bank that resistance will be met with gross forms of violence. And they want their Arab and Muslim neighbors to know that they will level their cities like they are leveling Gaza. But this is not a display of strength, quite the opposite. It's a display of weakness. They are so desperate to maintain the illusion, the trick, the shadow on the wall, that they are destroying their reputation and exposing themselves in front of the entire world. And while you may think that Israel enjoys full Western support, there is a limit to what the world will accept. All over the world, millions of people are marching. The United States just witnessed its...
There is a massive awakening going on right now. This war has caused a lot of people to wake up exactly what's really going on, who's controlling our politics, who this massive censorship that's going on too as well. What we can say, what we can't say. If you used to speak out against this, used to be banned everywhere. Now everyone is talking about this issue. They can't ban everyone. So obviously speaking, they can still take something from you if you speak out against the devastation that's going on in Gaza. But for some, the money's not everything. The sponsorships are not everything. It's the fact that you're seeing people literally losing their lives right now in a conflict that literally is just a one-sided devastation. That's all it is. It's a one-sided ass whooping. If you ever say, there's a perfect analogy for this. Imagine you're a boxer. You train for the months leading up to your big title fight against a champion who is undefeated, has never lost a fight, has never been knocked down. You step up to this champion and you hope to beat him. Then once you step across him, you realize this guy is just too great of an obstacle to overcome, and you literally lose the fight. That's exactly what this incident is. This is Hamas was obviously, they weren't trying to actually get into a full-on head-on warfare with the IDF. It was more of collecting hostages to exchange for already imprisoned Palestinians. But there's still technically, if you want to take my analogy and run with it, you would technically be right. The Hamas is literally a champion that trained for months to pick off a win, and in reality, they bit off more than they can chew. And now other people are suffering because of this conflict. Other people are being bombed indiscriminately because of this conflict. But this was Israel's chance to not only go out there and make an example of Hamas, they're making an example of the Palestinians too. Basically speaking, they're punishing them along with Hamas. They're treating all the Palestinians as terrorists. When in reality, They're just innocent people. Majority of them have nothing to do with Hamas. Majority of them are not even Hamas fighters. They're just innocent people. And they're getting killed for something they didn't even sign up for.
Largest ever Palestine demonstration. People of all races and class joined together to denounce the genocide of Gaza and call for the liberation of Palestine. Western political leaders are slowly changing their tune, calling for humanitarian pauses and trying to negotiate a long-term ceasefire. And Muslim leaders all over the world are feeling the pressure as well. The Indonesian president and Malaysian prime minister condemned the Israeli attack right to the face of Joe Biden. The king of Jordan, who has historically been soft in his condemnation, is talking about war. And Turkey's rhetoric has been
A lot of these guys have been bitchified for years because of Israel's protection from the United States. A lot of these guys had conflicts, especially, I believe it was Egypt, or was it Jordan? Sorry, forgive me, it's been a while. I've been up for hours, but it was Egypt that had conflicts with hold on one second, I was typing something up. But all these countries had their conflicts with Israel for the most part, and because of the the interference of the United States that comes to Israel's aid at every single moment, all these Muslim-led countries have to play ball with Israel. We pay off some of these countries so that way they don't attack us. We pay off Jordan, pay off Egypt. We pay off Turkey. We pay off all these countries that sit here to play ball with Israel. The UAE, investments from the United States, more and more investments. You see, it's turning into basically like the Vegas of the Middle East. So the fact of the matter is, all these countries are playing ball because of the United States. If it wasn't for us, all of these countries would have wiped out Israel a long time ago. It's just that because we're involved, they're playing ball. If they weren't involved, Israel would have been finito a long time ago. Because remember, they're fighting with all our weapons, all of our weaponry, all of our equipment, everything. We give them everything. Palantir technology from Palantir, Oxcart, Peter Thiel, they love Israel so much. They give them a powerful generated data collection system that is specialized in mass surveillance. They're able to pinpoint someone based off of data analysis and facial recognition. That's all weaponry from the United States that is being given to this apartheid state to carry out this mass genocide against these indigenous people that were wrongfully basically taken over. So we're going to continue the video on.
Increasingly openly hostile to Israel and its Western supporters. This isn't enough, but it is evidence that Palestinian resistance is working. It is evidence that your voices are being heard, your demonstrations are being watched, your social media activity is working, and Israel is terrified. This is why they are lying about what occurred on October 7th. They do not want Palestinian resistance, whether it's violent or peaceful, to be viewed as legitimate or justified. They don't want it to be seen as effectual. They do not want their illusion of power to be shattered. So they have resorted to committing atrocities and spreading atrocity propaganda lies. They have to make what Hamas did on October 7th dirty. They need to cover up that their military was completely routed in a military raid in order to maintain this perception of strength and power. But the truth is, they are losing support from the populations of the West, and their economy is hemorrhaging money. They are losing over $600 million a week. Their government hangs on by a thread, and this weakness comes at a time when there is already tremendous pressure.
Yeah, their PR has gone down for years. This is from I got me to cut this off. So this is from Pew Research. 70% of Democrats and Democratic leading independents viewed the Palestinian people favorably, compared with 37% of Republicans and GOP leaners. 55% of Republicans viewed the Israeli government positively, compared with just 18% of Democrats. Democrats are equally likely to have a favorable as unfavorable view of the Israeli people, 48% each. By comparison, 67% of the Israeli people, 48%. By comparison, 67% of Republicans have a favorable view. 82% of Republicans and 56% of Democrats view the Palestinian Authority unfavorably. Obviously for good reasons, because they're corrupt and brought by Israel and the United States. At least 8 in 10 in both parties view Hamas unfavorably. Of course, because by the definition of terrorists, they would be considered a terrorist organization. But in the same time, if you look at the definition of terrorism, the IDF will also be fall into that category too, because they were created during terror. They were created through terrorism. So, but the moment of the matter is, they're on a PR run to recover their PR, because if you see polls like this, you see data like this that's being collected about the favorability of Israel and the United States, they have fallen very, very. Their numbers right now in the United States are not good. Like, they're not favorably liked anymore in today's time, and it's only going to get worse right now as time goes on. Israel's favorability in the public of the American people has fallen. It has dramatically fallen even more under the Democrats, who have become, they've become far more like opposed to this war, obviously for humanitarian purposes. They're not in favor of the war because they're committing a genocide and mass starvations, mass famines. So obviously speaking, they are in it for different reasons. And the reason why people on the right are against this is because our taxpayer dollars are going to us, along with some that look at this war and just feel sympathy and empathy for the Palestinian people who are just being tortured, basically, and killed for no apparent reason at all, but besides just being there and being in the line of fire, instead of the IDF instructing them to go to safe zones like they keep telling them to. No, they just send them to zones where they're just going to bomb them anyways. So, to me, this conflict will never come to an end as long as there isn't a state for the Palestinians, or they're not as a one-state solution at least. Because as long as a military occupation is going on, this conflict will go as long as it needs to go.
On their biggest ally, the United States. This cannot last forever. The clock is ticking. The protests are mounting. Netanyahu's days are numbered. Biden and the Democrats are facing re-election. The dollar is inflating. The Ukraine war is failing. The U.S. empire is in decline, and China, Russia, Turkey, Saudi, and Iran are rising. The subjugation of the Palestinian people isn't sustainable. Their system is breaking, and together we can break it. This is the opportunity. This is the moment to seize upon. Pressure must be applied everywhere, from the West Bank of Palestine to the streets of Turkey, Jordan, Indonesia, and the West. The politicians and the media will try to move on from this issue, but we cannot allow them to do so. The Israelis, in all their arrogance, are buying us more time. They are insisting on invading southern Gaza, which gives us the opportunity to organize and resist before it's too late. We must not only continue the protests, we must escalate them. There isn't a single pressure point. There are pressure points all over the world that lead directly to the White House. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing in those areas, do more of it, non-stop. You see, we don't just want a pause in the fighting. We want a pause in all of society until the issue is addressed. This can be accomplished by sustained, peaceful protests in the heart of your cities. We must force this issue until the world pressures Israel to finally end their occupation.
Let this be a lesson to all you ants. Ideas are very dangerous things. You are mindless, soil-shoving losers, put on this earth to serve us.
You're wrong, Hopper. Ants are not meant to serve grasshoppers.
I've seen these ants do great things. And year after year, they somehow manage to pick food for themselves and you. So who's the weaker species? Ants don't serve grasshoppers. It's you who need us. We're a lot stronger than you say we are. And you know it, don't you?
Gaza was the little ant that stood up. We cannot allow them to fight alone. This is not a call for violence. It is a call for mass civil unrest and protest all over the world. We must spread the word and let everyone know. Their system is breaking. It's been breaking for decades. This is the moment. We must apply pressure until we break.
Yeah, that's that right there. I'm I'm kind of like a little bit in the middle about the protesting because a lot of these far radical leftists got into the protesting movement and just turned into like Antifa like protesting. Like they're mixing in violence now. They're committing acts of violence. They're attacking people. There have been Jews that have been harmed by this. Again, I'm not for violence at all. Peaceful protest is one thing, but when you're mixing in the violence and then you're wanting to go out there and kill people because most of them, you think most of them have something to do with this war right now. No, that's not the answer. Like destroying American monuments, it's not the answer. Going in there and disrupting every day of life is not the answer. Peaceful protest in a peaceful manner is much needed. For me personally speaking, I'm not going to go out there and protest at all. My protest is me doing my show. That's me doing my show. But I much rather, if you're going to go out there, you're watching me, you're leftist, try not to go out there and destroy government property. Don't go out there and just wreck shit because you think, oh, I need to go out here and make a stance for the Palestinian people by going out there and just being a dickhead. That's not how to do it. Peaceful protest is peacefully out there marching in the name of the people that are being killed. But I'm not one for protesting right now, personally speaking. But at the same time, I wouldn't fault you if you go out there and you're willing to do it in a peaceful manner to where you can let your voices be heard. And there's other ways to do it besides just going out there and in the traditional sense. We can just get together online and do it peacefully. Start a trend. We could be against this genocide. At the same time, we don't have to take it as far as a BLM style of protest where we're burning down cities. That's just ignorant and stupid. Very ignorant and stupid. If BLM is coming into the pro-Palestine movement, they're just gonna fuck it up for everybody. Because those fucking morons burned down Minneapolis because of a fentanyl addict who died of fentanyl. And now they come into this movement, now they're gonna stake up this movement and just bring a bad name to this. Like before, there were very far few people on the right that were against this war for money, and obviously speaking, there were a bunch of Palestinian people being killed. Now I can see the numbers are increasing, but at the same time on the left, the left's numbers are astronomically increasing far more than the right. But at the same time, you have different sections getting involved in protesting. Where you have the LGBTQ movement, you have all these BLM guys, you have all these leftist communists that are coming into the movement, and now they're just turning it into their own. And then they're committing acts of violence, which does not help nobody at all. So this is from the New York Times. This is basically pertaining to Trump right here about his speech earlier. So there was a more enthusiastic applause when Mr. Trump described Israel's assassination of Iranian nuclear scientists. This is talking about when they were talking about the little 12-day war between Israel and Iran. During the 12-day bombing of the country, and when he detailed the number of B-2 bombers, refuelers, and support aircraft that dropped bunker busters on Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, the major Iranian nuclear enrichment sites, and just beneath the surface, there were obvious differences over the future of Gaza, and even over whether the ceasefire that is finally allowing food and medicine to flow into the territory would necessarily need to be to a lasting peace. The war is over, Mr. Trump told reporters both on Air Force One on the way to Israel and in the hallways of the Knesset. Mr. Netanyahu was far more cautious, welcoming the release of the hostages. So I wonder why. In the fact that no living Israelis were being held in Gaza for the first time in years, while refusing to discuss whether Israel will resume hostilities if Hamas does not disarm or leave the territory. Hamas never agreed to that part of Mr. Trump's 20-point plan. I brought this up earlier in the Wikipedia part of the Gaza peace plan. Now we're seeing here reported in the New York Times in this article right here. Hamas never agreed to that part of Mr. Trump's 20-point plan, and its militias were already moving into neighborhoods from which Israel had withdrawn in recent days. And even while Mr. Trump was in Jerusalem, Israel's defense minister Israel Katz declared that Hamas had released the remains of only 4 out of 28 hostages who had died in captivity. Each delay or international avoidance will be considered a blunt violation of the agreement and will be answered accordingly, he posted on X. You already know what that means. That means more slaughter continues and the war continues on. So now we're going to get over to NBC News of when Trump arrived in Israel.
The remains of 28 others is still more unclear. They have until Thursday to find all of the remains.
If you're joining our live coverage,
like you see, this was earlier, 20 hours ago. Trump just arrived in Israel.
Now we're seeing our first images now. President Trump,
to ensure he signs the peace deal between Hamas and Israel.
as he's arrived here at Ben Gurion Airport in Israel, he will address the Knesset, which is the Israeli parliament. He's being greeted now by the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, an ally obviously in the region, and someone he negotiated with intensely over the last few months to get this deal, this first phase of the peace plan with Hamas. Also on hand, as we've mentioned before, Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, Ivanka, his daughter, and Steve Witkoff, his special envoy to the Middle East, who really has been coordinating a lot of the negotiations both here and in Qatar to get to that place where they could agree, at least on paper, right, Richard? They could agree that at the first phase, they'll release the hostages. Israel will pull back from Gaza. Maybe the most important part, maybe the most sensitive part, but the most complicated part is going to happen in phase 2. What happens to Gaza? What happens to the Israeli military there? And who's in charge?
All of those are open questions. Some of them still need to be negotiated. The Israeli military is calling this Operation Returning Home, and I believe... Yep. Now, our first image is the president.
We are seeing President Trump. He's just made that 10-hour journey from Washington, D.C. here to Israel right now. Here in Hostage Square, they are applauding every time they see him. They applaud. He's being greeted again by the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, here. It's unclear if he'll speak right away. The president at times does speak to the press. If you see some cameras, he'll come up and talk. We don't have any plans of that right now, at least not on the schedule, but with President Trump, you never really know. Richard, this is an incredible day. 2 years in the making. Those hostages have lived in hell for 2 years, tortured, starved. The 20 living right now, hopefully, will be back in Israel, at least in a few hours. And you can hear people here in Hostage Square saying, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, President Trump, as he's greeting Benjamin Netanyahu. We're watching a live feed as well here in Hostage Square. It's being broadcast all over the square. Tens of thousands are here. Israeli flags in the air. Lots of smiles, lots of cheers. People are in a joyous mode. It's tough to describe, right, Richard, because this is still a war. More than 60,000 have died in Gaza. 1,200 died in Israel in that initial terrorist attack. And there's still the remains, right, of 28 other Israelis and members of other countries, the remains that have to be negotiated and brought back into Israel.
The future of Gaza remains unclear. What will happen to Hamas? It will have to be rebuilt almost entirely. The infrastructure is completely destroyed. As you mentioned, more than 60,000 killed, 67,000 plus, and every day they're finding more and more bodies under the rubble. But what is happening now is a crucial step because Israel has made it clear the rest of the deal will not move forward unless this is successful, unless these 20 hostages come out today, alive, without fanfare, and are handed over to their families. The rest of the deal is blocked. So far, it does seem to be successful. They are coming out. They appear to be in good health. Now President Trump is here, and as you can see, he is being cheered and given that hero's welcome you were anticipating.
We were just looking at President Trump there being greeted by the ambassador to Israel from the United States, Ambassador Huckabee, the former governor of Arkansas, also a very close ally to President Trump in both his terms. We should also mention, Richard, because this was important, you said from what we understand, the 7 hostages that were given up, they appear to be in, we can't say good health, but they appear to be well enough to sort of be taken out and then taken to the hospital.
Just to briefly tell you the story of one hostage. I've gotten to know, as all of Israel's gotten to know, these hostages by name. Yeah. Their pictures are all over the country. They are, I don't want to say national heroes, but they've become national symbols. Yes. Everyone knows their story. And today, a brother who I spoke to just a couple of days is receiving his brother on October 7th. They were together at the Nova Music Festival when Hamas militants came down from paragliders and started opening fire, killing and kidnapping as many people as they could. They got separated in the melee. One was taken, one made it out. Today, they're going to be back together. And those kind of emotional stories are important for that family, obviously, but they are being felt by all the people in the square. Anyone here will tell you that they feel like a part of a collective family that is being reunited.
Yeah. Here at Hostage Square, we see the flags and we see the cheering. We also see photos of all those hostages that line the square that Israel has never forgotten. We also see sort of memories of the October 7th terrorist attack, horrific memories, burnt out cars and other sort of artifacts of a very dark history for this country from that attack.
Just behind us, off camera, there is a model of one of the tunnels. So it's made of paper mache and cement, but people could come here and put themselves inside one of the tunnels to get a sense of what it might be like. There have been empty tables set up with place settings and empty glasses to receive the hostages when they come back. This has been a place to reflect the Israelis' emotions throughout this time with these rotating symbolic.
You got Mike Huckabee there. You got Benjamin Netanyahu. You got Donald Trump all there. NBC's coverage, obviously, it's in Jerusalem.
exhibits, and also a place for the families of hostages to gather, to express their opinions, for people to come in solidarity. There have been anti-government protests here, a lot of anger directed against Prime Minister Netanyahu for not getting this deal done sooner, but now also a lot of joy for President Trump. They credit him more than Netanyahu for getting this deal done.
I do want to bring in our chief White House correspondent, Peter Alexander, who's reporting today from Jerusalem. Peter, some people are going to see Jared Kushner here, of course, his wife, Ivanka Trump. Jared, no formal role, right, in this administration, but a key negotiator and a key ally to the president, advisor to him in this region, and someone who's also received a lot of credit both from the Israelis and the Qataris on negotiating this deal.
Yeah, Tom, that's exactly right. Jared Kushner working hand in hand with the special envoy, Steve Witkoff. We saw the president greeting his special envoy just moments ago. Now he's walking besides Benjamin Netanyahu and the president, which is a ceremonial position in this country, Isaac Herzog. We should note that President Trump will be told by Herzog, we have learned when he arrives here at the Knesset later, that he is going to be awarded with Israel's highest honor, the Presidential Medal of Honor, which will be delivered to President Trump at another date, but he will learn that today. Notably, we've also learned from the president of Egypt, President El-Sisi, that President Trump, upon his arrival there, will be receiving what is known as the Nile Necklace, the highest state honor in that country. But back to the conversation you were having about Witkoff and Jared Kushner. I did speak to Steve Witkoff. We exchanged messages a short time ago. I asked him for his thoughts, and he gave his first comments to NBC News, saying, I wondered if I would ever see this day. It is deeply gratifying to know that so many families will finally have their loved ones home. Witkoff, in his message to me, said that it's an act of dignity that must be completed for the return of those remains so that the other families can be at peace. And he noted that it reminded him of his own son Andrew, who died at the age of 22 in 2011 of an opioid overdose. He felt sort of the pain through his own experience that many of these families have felt in the course of this loss. Separately, you saw the ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, of course, as you noted, familiar to many people back at home, as the former governor of Arkansas, of course, also the father of President Trump's first press secretary, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the second, I should say, after Sean Spicer, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who served in the president's first term. Huckabee posting a short time ago that this moment, these images were to him like the moon landing. He said, in effect, it's when time freezes. And I think that really is a good way to describe the feeling, the sentiment that we are hearing from people throughout this area. I woke up this morning, saw an Israeli American who was walking through the streets, and I asked her how she was feeling today. Her face was glowing. She says, it is amazing. We never thought this day would come. This is a day that they have certainly dreamed of, a day the president has worked toward for a long time. President Biden certainly did, but couldn't get it over the finish line before his departure. 105 of those hostages were released during his term, but of course, the final hostages, the last 20, with 7 already in the hands of the Israelis and their families now, 13 more expected today, will make that final journey home. And even those who served in the previous administration acknowledge that President Trump deserves a ton of credit for the success he's had in that effort.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and...
All right, so that's Trump's arrival. Now we're going to watch Trump's address to the Israeli parliament.
Donald J. Trump to address the Knesset.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor. Nice place. Very nice place. Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, esteemed members of the Knesset, and cherished citizens of Israel, we gather on a day of profound joy, of soaring hope, of renewed faith, and above all, a day to give our deepest thanks to the Almighty God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity. This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of the age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East. I want to express my gratitude to a man of exceptional courage and patriotism whose partnership did so much to make this momentous day possible. You know who I'm talking about. There's only one. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Baby, please stand up. And he is not easy, I want to tell you. He's not the easiest guy to deal with, but that's what makes him great. That's what makes him great. Thank you very much, baby. Great job. And let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free and to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect, and I want to thank them very much for that. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace, and it's pretty unusual for you to see that, but it happened in this case. This was a very unusual point in time, a brilliant point in time. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. It's going to work together. I'd like to thank several great American patriots for their invaluable help in getting something done that almost everyone thought was absolutely impossible. We were wasting our time. So many people said, you're just wasting your time. But we weren't, because we had talented people working with us, and we had people that loved your country, and frankly, people that love the region. They love the Middle East. I want to thank my friend Steve Witkoff. You know, Steve was chosen by me. He never did this before, but I knew him as a few things. He was a great businessman, but I know a lot of great businessmen, to be honest with you. He had tremendous negotiating skills, but I know a lot of people that negotiate pretty well, although it is an art. But there are people that can negotiate pretty well. But most importantly with Steve, he's just a great guy. Everybody loved him. Everybody. I mean, I know some negotiators that are so good, but you wouldn't have had peace in the Middle East. You would be in World War III right now with some of these guys. Everybody loves Steve, and they respect him, and they somehow can relate to him. I've known him for many years, and I've seen it over and over again.
Oh
shit. Oh shit. No, when I saw this earlier, this was crazy. So apparently this guy has a sign that says Free Palestine. But basically, I forgot exactly what did he have. I'll have to find it. But let me see, where is it at? I'll go on the X right quick. So this was crazy. Let's see. So apparently what the paper said, recognize Palestine. That's what it says on the paper. So he stood up immediately, screamed. He was talking in Hebrew, of course. So I couldn't understand exactly what he said, but he said, recognize Palestine. That's what the paper read. You know, shout out to that guy right there. That's a real one for that.
החוצה! להוציא גם את חבר הכנסת כסיף! להוציא את חבר הכנסת כסיף מהאולם! להוציא אותם מיד! Sorry for that, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Please.
That was very efficient. So back to Steve. He's But I tell one story because he was so involved, and then we called in Jared. We need that brain on occasion. We got to get Jared in here. We got to get a certain group of people. But Steve started this all by himself. I call him Henry Kissinger, who doesn't leak. Okay? Henry is a big leaker. He leaked. Steve doesn't leak. Steve just wants to get the job done. He wants to do what's right. But I'll give you just a quick story because, as you know, he's working on the war with Russia and Ukraine, a war that would have never happened if I were president. A shame. 7,000 young soldiers a week are being killed. More than that this last week. It's a shame. It should have never happened. But it did happen, and we won the race, and I took over this horrible war that's been raging, and I thought it would be easily settled. I thought it was a hell of a lot easier than doing what we just did very successfully with Israel and a lot of other people. But this came first, and we'll get that one. But I set up a meeting for him to meet with President Putin. thinking it would be a 15 or a 20-minute meeting. Steve had no idea about Russia, had no idea about Putin too much, didn't know too much about politics, wasn't that interested. He was really good at real estate, but he had that quality that I was looking for, and I didn't see it around in too many ways. And I set up the meeting with Putin, and I called. I said, is Steve finished yet? That was about a half an hour into the meeting. No, sir, he's not. He's still inside. This is in Moscow. I said, well, how's he doing? I don't know, sir. He's still inside. I called up an hour later. Let me speak to Steve. Sir, he's still with Putin. He's with President Putin. I said, wow, that's a long meeting, 1 hour. I called up an hour later. He was still with Putin. 3 hours later, he was still with Putin. 4 hours later, he started to get the word that he was going to be coming out soon. And in 5 hours, he came out. I said, what the hell were you talking about for 5 hours? And he says, just a lot of interesting things. We're talking about a lot of interesting things, including what he went in there for, but you can't talk about it for 5. You can talk about it for a certain period of time, and you know what you're getting. But that's a talent. That's a talent where you can do that. Most people I'd send in, number one, they wouldn't be accepted. Number two, if they were, the meeting would last 5 minutes. And that's what happens with Steve. Everybody loves him. They love him on this side. They love him on the other side. And he really is. He's a great negotiator because he's a great guy. So thank you very much, Steve. Very much.
Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, or former best friend.
And let me also give a very special thanks to someone who truly loves Israel. In fact, loves it so much that my daughter converted. My daughter converted. I didn't know this was going to happen. And Ivanka's here.
You know, I love Trump, but the one thing I will say, this guy is the most pro-Israel president in history. He's done more for Israel than any other president that's ever been around in office. Literally more. Man. They got what they want when they got him in office.
And Bibi, you do know this was not in the cards for me. You understand that. And she is so happy, and they are so happy. At least I think they're happy. If they're not, we have a big story, right? No, they have a great marriage, and they get along great. They're best friends. They have a very special relationship. But Jared has been so helpful. He really did something very special. He established the Abraham Accords with a group of very wonderful people. I like calling it the Avraham Accords because people that, right? Abraham. It's so cool. It's so much sort of nicer, you know, the Abraham versus the Avraham. I just don't want to sound too sanctimonious when I do it, so, you know, I sort of split it up. This way we keep everything for anything that's...
We're going to skip ahead because these are going to be... Trump's going to keep... Right, he's just going to keep carrying on at this point.
And I have a prediction that Marco will go down, I mean this, as the greatest Secretary of State in the history of the United States. I believe that. I believe it. And he and I, you know, we really fought it out. You remember, he was tough. He was nasty. Who the hell thought this was...
Yeah, Marco Rubio. That guy is a genetic politician, that's for sure. Marco Rubio is a good negotiator and a good speaker. That's one thing I can't take away from Marco Rubio, but the guy's a major Zionist, hardcore Zionist. The guy simps for Israel more than anybody. After he got confirmed as Secretary of State, the first person he called was Bibi. I'm not even kidding. You can find the article. As soon as he got out from his confirmation hearing, he called Bibi.
This was going to happen, Marco, right? And now I'm saying he's going to go down as the greatest. He will. He was always smart and sharp, and people respect him. And then we have somebody who's young, but an unbelievable leader. I saw it a long time ago, and he's turned out to be even better than we thought. Right, Susie? I think even better. And that's Pete Hegseth, who is our Secretary of War, formerly Secretary of Defense. And as you know, we decisively won World War I. We decisively won World War II decisively. And everything in between and everything before it, we won everything. And then...
If you're up, still smash the like button again. Leave a comment, whatever. We got to keep this train going. Come on, I need some inspiration right now. Smash the like button. Share the video.
They had the brilliant idea of changing the name from war, you know, it was war, to defense. And with that went a certain thinking. And we fought in a very politically correct way after that. We always had the strongest military. Now we have a stronger military than we've ever had before because of my first term. I've totally rebuilt the military, every aspect of it. But we have, if you think, we settled 8 wars in 8 months. I'm now including this one, by the way, if that's okay. They may say, well, that was quick, because yesterday I was saying 7, but now I can say 8. The hostages are back. The hostages are back. It is a good feeling. Isn't that nice to say? You know, I just said the hostage. First time I said the hostages are back. It feels so good to say it. But when you settle 8 wars in 8 months, that means you don't like war. Everyone thought I was going to be brutal. In fact, I remember Hillary Clinton during a debate, she said, look at him, he's going to go into war with everybody. And actually, she said, he's got a personality that's all about war. No, and my personality actually is all about stopping wars. And it seems to work. It seems to work. But it also means this name change and our attitude that we're not going to go into a war. But if we do, we're going to win that war like nobody has ever won a war before. We will not be politically correct, but we're not going to be there. And I think, you know, as you mentioned, Bibi, before, peace through strength. And that's what it's all about. The United States has the greatest and most powerful military in the, right now, history of the world. I can tell you we have weapons that nobody's ever dreamt of. I only hope we never have to use them. I rebuilt the military. I was proud to do it, but some of the things I hated to do. I hated certain of the weapons because the level of power is so enormous.
Again, Trump is
a lot. Many times, can you get me this weapon, that weapon, that weapon? Some of them I never heard of, Bibi, and I made them. People that know how to use them, and you obviously used them very well. But so many that Israel became strong and powerful, which ultimately led to peace. That's what led to peace.
Not really what led to peace. There's no such thing as peace right now, again, until military occupation ends. Once the military occupation ends and they are allowed basically either a one state or they're allowed their own state, a 2-state solution. They're given their own Palestinian state. There's conflict will never really cease to end. It's just not going to end. So I don't really foresee this conflict being over with for right now because this is just the first phase. We have yet to even know if the second phases were agreed upon.
So as we celebrate today, let us remember how this nightmare of depravity and death all began. 2 years ago, on the eve of the Simchat Torah holiday, thousands of innocent Israeli civilians.
Also, I might, sometime this week, I might cover the riots that are still going on right now. I believe the protests are still going on in Portland, Los Angeles, and Chicago. I might cover some of those right quick and see what's going on. If there's been any interesting updates right now. I think I missed all the important stuff already since I've been gone for like the entire week. So we might get some coverages of that. We're checking to see what's going on. If some communists are getting their heads smashed in by ICE.
Were attacked by terrorists, and one of the most evil and heinous desecrations of innocent life the world has ever seen, the worst slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust. The cruelty of October 7th struck to the core of humanity itself. Nobody could believe what they were witnessing. The United States of America grieved alongside you, and we mourned for our own citizens who were so viciously taken that day.
That's what has borrowed talking points, man. They've used the Holocaust more times in today's climate than they've ever done at any other time. You ever notice that since this conflict started, they've brought up the Holocaust more and more and more and more and more than any time point, since October 7th. You can count the times they've used that word. They've talked about the Holocaust. Now again, this is just me giving an example of a Hezbollah talking point. This is their talking point. This is the teleprompt talking point, literally. You can look up Hezbollah talking points and you realize like this is one of them. So,
and to all the families whose lives were forever changed by the atrocity.
There's the thing about it. I mean, we didn't have cameras or footage or whatever what happened back then. But we have evidence and footage of this is a genocide. This is kind of a Holocaust right now. We have footages of this right now. What's going on? So,
of that day and all of the people of Israel, please know that America joins you in those two everlasting vows. never forget, and never again.
There's that Hezbollah talking point. Skip a little bit ahead.
Only a proud and faithful people could withstand. It was a very tough period of time. For so many families across this land, it has been years since you've known a single day of true peace. But now at last, not only for Israelis, but also for Palestinians and for many others, the long and painful nightmare is finally over. And as the dust settles, the smoke fades, the debris is removed, and the ashes cleaned from the air, the day that breaks on a region transformed and a beautiful and much brighter future appears suddenly within your reach. This is now a very exciting time for Israel and for the entire Middle East, because all across the
I'm going to let this play for a minute. I'm going to step away.
Middle East, the forces of chaos, terror, and ruin that have plagued the region for decades now stand weakened, isolated, and totally defeated. A new coalition of proud and responsible nations is emerging, and because of us, the enemies of all civilization are in retreat. Thanks to the bravery and incredible skill of the Israeli Defense Forces and Operation Rising Lion, That's central casting. Let's put him in a movie. Look at him. Great job. And my people loved working with you. Loved it. They work so well together. But many of Iran's top terrorists, including nuclear scientists and commanders, have been extinguished from this earth. And with Operation Midnight Hammer, boy, that's a great name for that, what we did. Last June, the United States military flew 7 of those beautiful B-2 bombers. They look so beautiful all of a sudden. They were always... I thought they were pretty planes. I had no idea they could do what they did. In fact, we just ordered 28 more of them. A little updated version. We ordered a whole pile of them. And almost 100 other planes went with them, including fighter jets. We had 52 tankers, big, beautiful, brand new tankers that were loading them up 4 or 5 times. They've traveled 37 hours back and forth. Think of that. But we had tankers all over the sky for all the other planes. We had the F-22s, the F-35s, F-16s. We had a hell of a lot of planes. So we had 52 gas stations in the sky. That's what they call them. I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be flying one of them. We have our great General Raisin Cain right here. General, stand up. This guy. What a general. Thank you. I asked General Cain, I said, you know, we're having problems with ISIS, and I was in Washington, and I asked, how long would it take to defeat ISIS? And my Washington generals told me, 3, 4, maybe 5 years, sir. I said, I don't get it. We've got the best equipment in the world. Why? So I flew to Iraq, and I met with a man named Cain. He said, what's your first name? He said, they call me Raisin, sir. I said, wait a minute, your name is Raisin Cain? I've been looking for you for a long time. You got to be kidding. So they told me 3, 4, 5 years to defeat ISIS. And I sit down with him, and I say, why is it? I flew there. In the dark of night, I landed. I'll never forget it. It's quite a trip. I'm glad I made it, because I met him. I said, could I ask you, General? I come down. He said with another general and a sergeant. Everybody was like central casting. They could go into a movie right now. Between him and you guys over here, we could get rich making movies, okay? And they got along so great. That's the beautiful thing, that you're military and I'm military. BB got along so great. But what I was told by the television generals in Washington, we have the best equipment in the world. Why is it taking so long? And they said, 4 years. I said, so let me ask you, Raisin, how long would it take you to defeat ISIS? Sir, we can do it in 3 weeks, but you'll probably have some time left over. I said, you got to be kidding. What the hell are you talking about? They said 4 years. I said, well, sir, look, it's not my place to say, but you're asking me the question. What you have to do is you hit them from the west, you hit them from the north, you hit them from the south, you hit them above, you hit them below. I said, so why didn't they do it? And he didn't want to speak badly of his superiors, which is hard to believe they were his superiors. Should have been the other way around a long time ago, because he's the one that did Operation Hammer. It was flawless. It was flawless. It was absolutely flawless. And I said, so you really think you can do it in 4 weeks? Yes, sir, 100%. You have to do it differently than they were doing it. They were using one base, and it was hundreds of miles away. And he says, we have all these portable bases all over the Middle East. And they didn't want to use them because they didn't want to offend the country where the portable... They wouldn't have even known what the hell the planes were going up, right? They wouldn't have known. But he said, no, they didn't want to offend anybody. But we can do it in 4 weeks. I said, you sure about that? I'm going to call you back. I'll call you back on Monday. I'm going back to...
Also, this is crazy news. So apparently, we allow Qatar to build a military base on U.S. soil. Apparently, this is a gift. Well, this is basically kind of us saying we're sorry for Israel bombing them weeks back at the Doha, in Doha, Qatar, trying to kill the Hamas negotiation team. And it failed, of course, which led to Qatar and other Muslim countries condemning the attack on Qatar, and also them being very mad about that this took place. So, of course, Trump had to force BB to apologize to Qatar about this surprise attack, quite frankly, that no one saw coming. To where now we have to, now how the United States is repaying Qatar, we are allowing them to build a military base on our U.S. soil because of that attack. So that should let you know exactly where we're at right now because of Israel. Like, they put us in a position to where we have to not only, we're giving a military base to a Middle Eastern country on U.S. soil because they couldn't keep their cool, and they just decided to bomb in Doha without any warning or whatever. But again, this apartheid state is getting us into so much bullshit in the Middle East every time, and now we're repaying Qatar by allowing them to build a military base on our soil. Imagine that. Our greatest ally right now is getting us into so much bullcrap, and we have to always fix their problems.
Washington. But you think 4 weeks? Yes, sir, I think we can do it in 4 weeks. We'll have time left over. So I called him on Monday. I said, you think you can do it? 4 weeks. I said, go ahead and do it. He did it. I bet he did it in 4 weeks.
Also, I had to get up and turn off the air. Man, it's so fucking cold in here. Holy shit.
It's less than 4 weeks. So, General, stand up, please. Again, this is a real general. This is not a television general. He doesn't want to go on television. He doesn't want to go on television. I said the other guys love being on television. So we dropped 14 bombs on Iran's key nuclear facilities, totally, as I said originally, obliterating them. And that's been confirmed.
Yeah, that's just, it's not true, actually. Not true. But I mean, and that was, we should never even got involved in that. Literally, we should have never gotten involved in that.
And everybody understands it. Together we stop the #1 state sponsor of terror from obtaining the world's most dangerous weapons. And if you think about it, if we didn't do that, and assuming we made the same deal that we have today, there'd be a dark cloud over this deal. And #1, it wouldn't happen because the other Arab and Muslim nations really wouldn't feel comfortable making the deal that we have now, right? If Iran had that nuclear weapon that they were about 2 months away from having. They would have had it in 2 months or maybe less than that. They were right at, this was our last.
He's still really like focusing on the fact that it was counteracted. Basically, how does this notion that they destroyed the facility? They only put them back by a couple of months. The facility is not completely destroyed. They have not showed us footage of them destroying the facility. Like, I don't know why Trump keeps doubling down on this basically kind of lie. Then American intelligence contradicted him. Israeli intelligence contradicted him. Iranian intelligence contradicted him. The facilities are not completely destroyed. They're not wiped out. I don't know why he keeps bolstering that around. Like, he's just doing a showmanship right now. They're very much still standing. Yes, they took damage, but they can be operational in like the next 2 to 3 months. Might be a little bit longer, but the point of the matter is they're not completely destroyed. But he keeps doubling down on this blatant lie when it's just not even true.
Last shot. They looked at it for 22 years. This was our last shot. The pilots told me that. They said, 22 years, sir. They looked at it. Our predecessors looked. They studied it. 3 times a year we'd do drills on that exact attack. And boy, did they get it right. But let's assume they didn't. And let's assume there was.
Also, about Iran, I have an article from the Gray Zone. We're going to touch up on that, too, after this.
Large-scale nuclear weapons in the hands of Iran. We couldn't be here today. Even if we signed the deal, which we couldn't do because a lot of people would not want to have anything to do with it. We took a big cloud off of the Middle East and off of Israel. And it was my honor to help. But isn't it true, though, that can you imagine the same let's assume, maybe the same documents, we had everything the same, but you had somebody out there that was, in the opinion of everybody, all powerful in the Middle East. They took a big hit, didn't they? Didn't they take a big hit? Boy, oh boy. They got it from one side, from the other. And you know, it would be great if we could make a peace deal with them. And I think that's big. Would you be happy with that? Wouldn't it be nice, I think? Because I think they want to. I think they're tired. Somebody said, sir, they're starting their nuclear program again. I said, let me tell you something. They're not starting anything. They want to survive. The last thing they want to do is start digging holes again in mountains that just got blown up and start. They're not doing it. They want to survive, okay? But I think we have a chance. Steve, you, and I think Jared, come on, I'll call you back for another one. We always bring Jared when we want to get that deal closed. We bring Jared, but Steve, you and Jared and the General and Pete and Marco, you'll get that deal done easy. I think that'll be easy. But first we have to get Russia done. We got to get that one done. If you don't mind, Steve, let's focus on Russia first, all right? We'll get it done. In Lebanon, the dagger of Hezbollah, long aimed at Israel's throat, has been totally shattered. My administration is actively supporting the new president of Lebanon in his mission to permanently disarm Hezbollah's terror brigades. He's doing very well. And build a thriving state at peace with its neighbors. And you're very much in favor of that, I know. And it's good things are happening there, really good things. And with this week's ceasefire, we've achieved the most challenging breakthrough of them all. The most challenging breakthrough maybe ever. I mean, I've never seen anything like. I've been involved in a lot of success. I have never seen anything like what's going on today all over the world. People are dancing in the streets, not just in Israel. They're dancing in the streets of countries that would have never danced in the street about what's happening today. They're dancing in those streets. So this long and difficult war has now ended. You know, some people say 3,000 years, some people say 500 years, whatever it is. It's the granddaddy of them all. And in an unprecedented achievement, virtually the entire region has endorsed the plan that Gaza will be immediately demilitarized, that Hamas will be disarmed, and Israel's security will no longer be threatened in any way, shape, or form. So Israel, with our help, has won all that they can by force of arms. You've won. I mean, you've won. Now it's time to translate these victories against terrorists on the battlefield into the ultimate prize of peace and prosperity for the entire Middle East. It's about time you...
In actuality, if you look at it, Israel didn't actually win. What happened was Hamas is still alive. Like, their numbers, they took a hit, but they've already recruited new members or whatever. They didn't wipe out Hamas like they planned on. This is the reason why Smotrich and Ben-Gvir is so angry at this peace deal. They wanted to completely obliterate Hamas. They didn't want to take a peace deal. They didn't want peace. They want to wipe out Hamas completely, lead them to their extinction. But that didn't happen, obviously. So if you look at it, Israel is feeling like they didn't get the mission done, because getting the hostages back wasn't their plan. This was not the far right's plan in Israel. No, they wanted to continue the war on and want to wipe out Hamas. The hostage deal, whatever, that's collateral. It's just, basically speaking, it's whatever. It was a whatever deal. Like, yeah, that was secondary to their main goal of just wiping out Hamas. And that includes targeting the hostages and wiping them out, but they couldn't do that because there was so much protest and so much backlash going on in Israel itself, to where they were pushing for Israel to take a diplomatic approach and negotiate to get the hostages back. Instead, the far right was just so focused on just trying to destroy Hamas and indiscriminately bomb a bunch of other innocent Palestinians that have nothing to do with Hamas. So, but anyways, it's not necessarily a double for Israel. It's more of a W for this conflict's over with for now.
We're able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, Mr. Opposition Leader. He's a very nice opposition leader. I think. No, he's a nice man. Bibi, he's a nice man. Good. He knows what he's doing, right? No, a very nice guy. Well, see, now you can be a little bit nicer, Bibi, because you're not at war anymore, Bibi.
Bibi has his corruption trial after this is over with now. Now he has to go back to reality and possibly face incarceration if he's found guilty on his corruption trial case, which is more than likely he is going to. But Trump, during this speech, asked the president of Israel to pardon Bibi, which there's a possibility that might happen.
But only by embracing the opportunities of this moment can we achieve our goal of ensuring that the horrors of recent years will never happen again. You don't want to have to go through this again. 8 years ago, I came to this region on a very special first trip abroad as the President of the United States. I came here very early at your request. I addressed the leaders of the Arab and Muslim world gathered in Saudi Arabia and said that it was time to build a future free of the grip of extremism and terror. And I'm interestingly right now, as soon as I'm finished, I'm quite late. You've kept me quite late between opposition leaders and Bibi's brilliant but very long speech. I thought I was going to run up here, make a speech, and then head to Egypt. It didn't work out there. And you made a pretty long one too, sir. But I liked what you all said. It could be worse. Supposing on top of it, I didn't like what you said. That would be no good, Ron, would it? Ron, you did a great job, by the way, Ron. Yeah. So I'm going to be meeting, actually, in a little while, I'm going to be meeting with the most powerful, the richest nations, really, in the world. Although now, with the tariffs, the United States is by far the richest nation in the world, as you probably have been reading. But the richest nations, most powerful nations, tremendous, headed by some tremendous people in many cases. Some cases I wouldn't say necessarily I would endorse. But I will tell you, some incredible people that really helped us make this all possible. So I'll be going there. I'll be quite late. They might not be there by the time I get there. But we're going to give it a shot. But the journey we started back then led to the crushing defeat of the ISIS caliphate, to the monumental Abraham Accords, and ultimately to the historic ceasefire this week, in which many of those same nations really played a very pivotal role, I have to tell you. Steve will tell you that. Jared will tell you that. Together we've shown that peace is not just a hope that we can dream about. It's a reality we can build upon day by day, person by person, and nation by nation. And because of that, the Middle East is finally ready to embrace its extraordinary potential. You have extraordinary potential in this region. It should now be clear to everyone throughout the region that decades of fomenting terrorism and extremism, jihadism and anti-Semitism have not worked. They haven't worked. They've been a disaster. They've just killed. They've killed. They've backfired completely and totally. They've just totally backfired. Everything that you thought. Take it, worst case, it's turned out to be worse than that. They have not worked. From Gaza to Iran, those bitter hatreds have delivered nothing but misery, suffering, failure, and death. They've served not to weaken Israel, but to annihilate the very forces that did the most to foment this hatred. And it's really, everybody that's tried it has become irrelevant. Meanwhile, we've seen those nations that set aside their differences, reached across ancient divides, and pursued engagement are now among the most successful in the region. They're getting along with Israel, and they're doing great. And I can tell you the 4 nations that joined the Abraham Accords early on, and you'd all be doing me a favor, and I'm going to be saying this in a little while to some other friends, would love you all to, is this right, Jared? Join up in the Abraham Accords. We have to join up and get together. You can have that whole thing filled out. We had a very weak administration, worst president in the history of our country by far. And Barack Obama was not far behind, by the way. And they did nothing with this incredible document, the Abraham Accords, but now you can fill them up. Now you have peace. You have people that really like Israel. I'll tell you what, and they like Israel a lot more today than they did even 5 weeks ago. Like you've made a lot of, you've come back. You've come back strong because it was getting to be a little nasty out there in the world, and ultimately the world wins. You can't beat the world. Oh, I would say to Bibi, it's now time, and he understood it better than anybody, because ultimately, the world's a very big place. And I've said a lot. I said, this piece of land is very small. It's unbelievable when with that tiny, you look at a map even of just not the world, the Middle East, and you have this little dot. And think of what you've done. It's incredible. It's incredible. But the world is loving Israel again. And I said to him, the world is big and it's strong. And Ron, ultimately, the world wins. And we don't have to worry about that now. But there was getting to be a period of time over the last few months, the world wanted peace and Israel wanted peace. Everybody did. Everybody did. And what a victory it's been, right? What a victory it's been. If you would have gone on for 3-4 more years, keep fighting, it was getting bad. It was getting heated. The timing of this is brilliant. And I said, Bibi, you're going to be remembered for this far more than if you kept this thing going, kill. It would be it would not be the same. And I just want to congratulate you for having the courage to say, that's it. We've won. And now let's enjoy our lives and let's rebuild Israel and make it stronger and bigger and better than it's ever been before. You're going to do that. Took a lot of guts. And the choice for Palestinians could not be more clear. This is their chance to turn forever from the path of terror and violence. It's been extreme, to exile the wicked forces of hate that are in their midst. And I think that's going to happen. I've met some people over the last couple of months that want to see it happen very much. And after tremendous pain and death and hardship, now is the time to concentrate on building their people up instead of trying to tear Israel down. We don't want that to happen again. And the total focus of Gazans must be on restoring the fundamentals of stability, safety, dignity, and economic development so they can finally have the better life that their children really do deserve after all these decades of horror. I intend to be a partner in this effort in the sense that we're going to help and we're going to do something that became unbelievably...
All right, now he's really just yapping right now. But there's one interesting thing I'm going to I want you guys to listen to, and then we can move on. So it's going to be right here.
Country and this unbelievable economy, and forged one of the great democracies of the world. The holy center of the world's three great Calvary, people of every faith and background, easily won? No, it hasn't. It has not been. It's been so tough, but it has been so... Think of it. People used to say it wouldn't exist. They don't say that anymore, do they? Yet if safety, security, and coexistence can thrive here in the winding alleys and ancient paths of Jerusalem, then surely peace and respect can flourish among the nations of the broader Middle East. The God who once dwelled among his people in the city still calls us, in the words of Scripture, the turn from evil and do good, to seek peace and pursue it. So he still whispers truth into the hills and knolls and valleys of his magnificent creation, and he still writes hope into the hearts of his children all over the world. And that is why even after 3,000 years of pain and conflict, the people of Israel have never given up from the threats of worry and heartache. We have built industries together. So now we're going to forge a future that is worthy of our heritage. We're going to build opportunity and happiness here in the spiritual and geographic center of the entire world. That's what you are. Israel, Armenia to Azerbaijan together.
Hold on.
This
I'm trying to
magnificent
look
creation.
for parts at.
Size. Look at your chances. But here between the I'm proud to have helped in that carry on through thousands of years. Very controversial. So, you know, I mean, I see so popular. You are a very popular man. You know why? Champagne, who the hell cares about? Hey, I have an idea. Mr. President, what a here. That's a great honor. Great honor. She's a wonderful woman. She is a great woman. I've always stood for the people of this community for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest. And she loves Israel, but she loves it, and they would come in and... Did that right, Miriam?
All right, this is the part. This is the part.
Kept promising. I never understood it. I did today. Thank you. But as president, I terminated the disastrous Iran nuclear deal, and ultimately I terminated Iran's nuclear program with things called B-2 bombers. It was swift, and it was accurate, and it was a military beauty. I authorized...
I want you guys to listen to when he starts talking to Miriam Adelson. Listen to that. That is very key to what I'm about to say next.
Spending of billions of dollars, which went to Israel's defense, as you know, and after years of broken promises from many other American presidents, you know that they kept promising. I never understood it until I got there. There was a lot of pressure put on these presidents. It was put on me too, but I didn't yield to the pressure. But every president for decades said, we're going to do it. The difference is I kept my promise and officially recognized the capital of Israel and moved the American embassy to Jerusalem. Isn't that right, Miriam? Look at Miriam. She's back there. Stand up, Miriam. Stand up. Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. He'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I can think of. Look at her sitting there so innocently. She got $60 billion in the bank, $60 billion. And I think she's saying no more. And she loves Israel, but she loves it, and they would come in, and her husband was a very aggressive man, but I loved him. He was a very aggressive, very supportive of me. And he'd call up, can I come over and see you? I say, Sheldon, I'm the president of the United States. It doesn't work that way. He'd come in. But they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen to Israel.
One, keep listening. Keep listening. It's not over with. One, listen.
Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country. She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say.
Bam. I can't believe he actually said that. I cannot believe he actually really said that. So, well, I asked Muriel Anderson, what does she love more, America or Israel? She didn't say. So I'm just going to take that as she loves Israel. I can't believe he actually said that on camera. That's insane that he said that. That's insane. But it goes to show you Miriam Adelson's allegiance is not to America. The Adelsons, they have no allegiance to America. They have allegiance to Israel. They are Israel first. They're not America first. These people are not of America. They're not for the benefits of America. No, the benefits for the Jewish state. You want to know how I know Miriam Adelson is not from America? Miriam Adelson gave Trump $100 million for his campaign and also was promised something from Trump. What was that promise? Tell you what that promise was. Bombing Iran's nuclear facility in the name of Israel. That's what he was promised. That's what he promised Miriam Adelson when she gave him that $100 million. And then she also asked of a favor or a promise from Trump. I can't believe he really said this at this conference right now. To really just goes to show you that these people right here have no affinity for the American people. No, they have affinity for this apartheid state. This ethno state here that is militarily occupying a bunch of indigenous people, keeping them in chains and shackles, shooting and killing them and starving them to death. That's who their affinity is with. The Adelsons have no affinity with America. Sheldon Adelson was literally buried in Israel when he died. He was not even buried in America. That money was a promise to the Jewish state. It wasn't a promise to the American state.
We love you. Thank you, darling, for being here. That's a great honor. Great honor. She's a wonderful woman. She is a great woman. I've always stood for the people of this community, and I always will. I'll always be with you. I'm always going to be with you. I guess maybe something could happen to change my mind. Somebody that's really stupid gets into office and wants to do really bad things, but that's about it. And we don't think we're going to have that happen. I hope we're not going to have that happen. And this man is a good man right here. These two men are good men right here.
We're going to keep listening because Trump is going to ask the Israeli president to pardon Bibi Netanyahu too as well.
Hey, I have an idea. Mr. President, why don't you give him a pardon? Give him a pardon.
You see what I'm see what the fuck I mean? See what I mean? He's literally asking the president of Israel to pardon Bibi Netanyahu. Literally. Like, Trump is glazing this man so fucking hard, bro. I've just never seen a president that's literally kissed and worshiped the ground that Bibi Netanyahu walks on. And many people sit up here and say that Trump is the one calling the shots or whatever. Listen, I've never seen Trump pull out a chair for Benjamin Netanyahu. Reverse, actually. I've never seen Bibi pull out a chair for Trump. I've seen Trump pull out a chair for Bibi. Really, when he came to the White House, the first time Trump won in 2021 and got after his inauguration, Bibi literally came to the White House with his dirty ass laundry and told all the laundry people to wash his laundry. Literally, it's like the president of the United States comes home. That he had like a dozen standing ovations. Literally, his first speech at Congress. So it just goes to show you that we are occupied. It's not hard to understand that. Hell, look at TikTok right now. They literally took out the Juice app. They can't talk about AIPAC and how it influences America. Can't talk about none of that stuff. So we're gonna move on right now. This is Trump in the
Very much, everybody.
This is the peace ceremony they had right after the speech. So a bunch of the Middle Eastern leaders had got together to have this little peace ceremony, along with some of the Western leaders that also came too as well.
This is a tremendous day for the world. It's a tremendous day for the Middle East. And you can see that this is probably the greatest assemblage of countries in terms of wealth and power maybe ever assembled. And it's just an honor to be a part of it. We're going to be signing a document that's going to spell out a lot of rules and regulations and lots of other things. And it's very comprehensive. But we've already signed documents in the Middle East and having to do with Israel and Hamas and just about everything else. And it's really working out incredibly well. The hostages, as you know, were let go on time, on schedule. The very sad situation of bodies, which was always a sad situation, and they're being sought out, and they're working with many different people, finding some were brought in and some were not. And they're working out to find out where those bodies are. It's hard to believe that you even have to say something like that. It's so sad. It's so sad. But what's not sad is that we have finally, after, I guess they say 3,000 years, I've heard from 3,000 years to 500 years, but whatever it is, it's a lot. But this was the one, this was the granddaddy of them all. And frankly, I thought this was probably going to be the toughest, and maybe in many ways it was, but we had a lot of good talent. Steve Witkoff, Jared, and Marco, and Pete, and General Kane was so great. John
Again, make sure you like the fucking video. This is information right here. I'm up late at night. Really, that's supposed to be. I got work in a couple of hours. Literally, I need to get some sleep soon. So make sure you like the video. Leave a comment. We keep this train going.
Ratcliffe was.
Also, next, I need to actually make. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to start plugging my Need to start plugging. What? Fuck, I'm having a brain fart right now. Give me a minute.
Incredible. We had an amazing array of talent, and we were helped by, in particular, the countries represented at this table. I will say, Tamim, you were fantastic, and your country is unbelievable, and I don't think they give you a fair shake. They talk about you as though you're not a nice person, and you happen to be a nice person. You happen to live in a little tough neighborhood. You're surrounded by everybody, and without you, this wouldn't have happened, and I just want to thank you very much. That's Qatar, and thank you. He's a great gentleman, and he's an amazing leader. And another man who's been a friend of mine for a long time, I don't know what it is. I like the tough people better than I like the soft, easy ones. I don't know what the hell that is. It's a personality problem, I suspect. But this gentleman from a place called Turkey has one of the most powerful armies actually in the world. It's much more powerful than he even lets known. If you look at some of the recent conflicts, he was at the top of them, and he was winning them, and he did win them. And he doesn't want any credits. He doesn't want anything. He just wants to be left alone. He's a tough cookie, but he's been my friend. And every time I've ever needed him, he's been there for me. So I just want to thank President Erdogan, Turkey, great guy. When NATO has a problem with him, because he is difficult, they call me. They said, would you do me a favor? Could you speak to Erdogan? And I do. And he never fails us, right, General? He never fails. He's.
I'm going to make a video advertising my Patreon. Obviously speaking, if I want to get paid right now before I get my YouTube monetization, I'm going to start advertising my Patreon. I got like 49 subscribers with 50 actually. So we need to, I want to start actually making some money from this. So if you want to support the channel, support the movement or whatever, and want to see me grow, I'm going to have a Patreon out so you guys can support the cause right now. But let's get back to the video.
Amazing. So I just want to thank you for the friendship. It's great. Thank you very much. And then, of course, we have the host tonight, and I just want to thank you very much. There was a reason we chose Egypt, because you were very helpful, and very, very helpful. Everybody wanted to have this, but we really thought it was appropriate. And you are a great leader. You have very little crime. You have problems that other countries don't have. And, of course, nothing's perfect, but the job you do is amazing, and I want to thank you. Another one, he's been my friend right from the beginning during the campaign against crooked Hillary Clinton. Have you heard of her? We were both downstairs waiting to go up to meet this gentleman who has a place called Egypt, the oldest civilization. They say 6,000 years. China's 5,000 years, but you're actually number one, 6,000 years. Can you believe it? But the oldest, they say, civilization. But so I went up to meet him first, and we liked each other so much that she waited for about an hour and a half. And I think your meeting lasted about 2 minutes with her. So I always remembered that. But that was our first meeting. We had great chemistry together. And he's a fantastic man and a fantastic general, by the way. But he's a great president. And I want to thank Egypt and all of your representatives for treating us all so well. Thank you very much. So we're going to be signing, and we're really representative of a whole group of nations, and they're sitting behind us, and you know most of them. I can tell you this guy's got so much money. They all have so much money. There's more money and power sitting behind us. I love that they're behind us. They've never been sitting behind anybody before. This is a unique position for them, but they are, seriously, they're among the most powerful countries in the world, the richest countries in the world, and there's never been really an assemblage like what we have today. I don't think, Tamim, I've never seen it anyway. And I want to thank everybody for being with us. Here's a man, I just solved the war for him. Azerbaijan. Right, did I do a good job? Where's your compatriot here? Where's Arias? You two guys are still getting along, right? They fought for 32 years. In about 1 hour, we settled it, right?
And they like each other now, too. It's good. That's great. I think it's great. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. We have Italy. She's a very strong ruler. He's doing a great job.
One thing I give Trump credit, he is a character when he's around all these world leaders and stuff. He literally, you can tell the guy's just not like naturally a politician and stuff. Like he just comes off as just being a funny guy. Like, because he comes from a world of business. He's a businessman first and foremost. He's not a politician. All these guys are like strictly like all politicians. They talk in politics terms. Yeah, they crack jokes here and there, but they're politics first and foremost.
Job. You're doing a great job. Thank you very much. There's so many, but we're actually going to be making a speech after this. So this is just a very important signing, but we're doing a signing, then we're doing a speech, and then I may stay behind with the leaders just to talk about that some things without the press, without the media. But I want to thank the media for you've been so respectful on this deal. You know the importance of the deal, and I really, it was so pleasant to watch. I was on the plane for quite a while listening to the various newscasts, and they were all fair. They were talking about how incredible this is. This is an incredible day for the world, let alone the Middle East. So I just wanted to thank the media. They really treated it with respect. I wish you could be like that on other things, but that's perhaps too much to ask for. But on this, tremendous, everybody feels the same. Just tremendous respect, and we appreciate it very much. Can we get the documents, please? Okay.
We'll send them right here.
Okay. This took 3,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up, too. It's going to hold up. Okay, thank you. Thank you. You can use my pen if you want. Have a pen? Can you use mine? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Now they're signing the peace deal right now. Leave a comment in the section below if you believe this is gonna hold up. Like, let's keep it real. Let's all like have like a little bet going on right now in the comment section. How many want to bet exactly that this peace deal is gonna hold up? Because remember, Israel's broken 265 ceasefire agreements. They've broken 265 ceasefires. That's a lot of ceasefires that are violated. And can we really believe Israel to really adhere to a ceasefire? They'll look for any excuse to continue the conflict. Any. Doesn't matter. If Hamas is not willing to lay down their arms, they're just immediately go right back to bombing them. Immediately. So, I'm not buying it. Not falling for it. Nope. So, we'll see.
You can hold it up for
You can hold it up for Okay. Fine. I think we're going to hold it up. I don't hold up the signature page, yeah. So we're going to go and I'm going to say a few words. We're giving a little speech, and then we're going to meet with the leaders after that and spend a little time together without the media. The media is invited to the speech. I just want to tell you the people behind me and some of the people in the room that are so helpful, but the people behind me are the greatest leaders, most powerful leaders, the richest leaders, frankly. Sometimes it's not politically correct to say that, but I'll say it. The richest in the world that the world has ever seen. And yet when you get to know them, I know every one of them in their own way. And I can
Bibi was supposed to attend this peace summit in Egypt, but apparently he couldn't make it for some reason. He couldn't be around all the other Middle Eastern leaders. So He only shows up on his time, like he did at the United Nations assembly, where a bunch of them walked out on him.
I can say in particular some, because that's the way life works, but some of the greatest people you'll ever meet, and people that really care for their countries. And why this happened is they all came together and they wanted to get Gaza straightened out. They wanted to get the whole thing straightened out. It got to a point where it was just crazy. And once they got together and once we started talking, it went really, to me, it went smoothly. It went so smoothly. It was such a big help, but it went so smoothly that nobody could even believe it, that we're sitting here and getting this all certified out and all done. And everybody's happy about it. Everybody's happy about it, like I've never seen before, actually. I've done other deals and people don't care as much. Big deals, I think they're big deals, but this is something that's taken off like a rocket ship. And it did from the beginning. And I've heard for years, this is the biggest deal, it'll never happen. For years, long before I ran for office, that this is the Middle East. It's the biggest, most complicated deal. And also it's the place that could lead to tremendous problems like World War III. They always talked about World War III would start in the Middle East. And that's not going to happen. We don't want it to start anywhere, actually, but it's not going to happen. So I just want to thank everybody, and I'll see you in a little while. And in particular, thank you all. Thank you, Tamim. Mr. General, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Great job. Great job. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, so they signed the peace deal as a little summit. Then they had like a little press conference. It was only like 32. After this, we're going to close out. I got to get some sleep.
Well, thank you very much, and that was a great honor. I appreciate it very much, Mr. President. Mr. General, Mr. President, great General, great President. Thank you very much. This is the day that people across the region and around the world have been working, striving, hoping, and praying for. They have done things over the last month that I think were really unthinkable. Nobody thought this could happen. With the historic agreement we've just signed, those prayers of millions have finally been answered. As you know, the hostages have been returned, and further work goes on having to do with the, sadly to say, bodies. Together we've achieved what everybody said was impossible. At long last, we have peace in the Middle East, and it's a very simple expression, peace in the Middle East, and we've heard it for many years, but nobody thought it could ever get there, and now we're there. And I want to congratulate everybody sitting in these first few rows and standing behind me. I don't know why they chose to stand, but I promise I'll make it short, okay? We are not going to keep you standing for long. These are great leaders. After years of suffering and bloodshed, the war in Gaza is over. Humanitarian aid is now pouring in, including hundreds of truckloads of food, medical equipment, and other supplies, much of it paid for by people in this room. Civilians are returning to their homes. The hostages are reuniting. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm just watching it backstage. The level of love and sorrow, I've never seen anything like it. It's amazing when you see they haven't seen their mother, their father. They haven't seen them in such a long time, and they lived in a tunnel, a very little tunnel, very deep. And the level of love is just incredible. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's, in one sense, it's so horrible that it could have taken place, but in another sense, it's so beautiful to see a new and beautiful day is rising, and now the rebuilding begins. The rebuilding is maybe going to be the easiest part. I think we've done a lot of the hardest part because the rest comes together. We all know how to rebuild, and we know how to build better than anybody in the world. I want to express my tremendous gratitude to the Arab and Muslim nations who helped make this incredible breakthrough possible, and you really did. To President El-Sisi of Egypt, who is so generously hosting us today. And I want to thank you for the outstanding job your country is doing in so many different ways and for helping us so much with this peace agreement. I also want to thank the President for the escort of 6 fighter jets. Oh, we looked out the window, we said, I hope they're friendly, and they turned out to be very friendly. But we had 3 on each side, and they are beauties right out of the great, really American manufacturing hub. We make the greatest military equipment in the world. We have the strongest military.
Pakistan's president's back there, and they just bombed Afghanistan recently. So that's another conflict that literally just started right after this conflict just ended. Yeah, I don't think warfare is definitely not going to end anytime soon in the Middle East.
In the world by far, and I knew exactly what those planes were, and I knew exactly how much you paid for those planes too. You paid a lot, but you got a pretty good deal, and they are great planes, and we just appreciate it. That was quite an escort in. That was very impressive. But Air Force One was really, it was covered with Egyptian desert just a few months ago. If you think about it, just a few months ago it was Egyptian desert, and now it was just a few feet off our window. And it was a spectacular sight, and I appreciate it very much. Really, that was pretty good. You got our people by surprise. I don't know if they were thrilled right at the beginning, but they were thrilled as we sailed along very, very calmly and safely. And
Well, that's important right quick before we're going to segue into this. If I could show it on screen. Hold on a sec. Can I even show it on screen? There we go. All right. So this is a video going over the 11 times that Israel's had over these 3-year period to end the conflict and get the hostages back. Oh, listen to this important video. This is important details that people need to realize. They could have gotten the hostages back 11 times, and BB simply just said no.
Here's every ceasefire deal and prisoner exchange that Hamas has offered Israel.
Sorry, the volume's so damn low in this. Oh, I can turn it up. Let me turn it up a little bit for everyone can hear.
Israel since October 7th. October 9th. Hamas offers Israel an unspecified number of women and children being held hostage in Gaza in exchange for 36 Palestinian women and children being held hostage in Israeli prisons. October 16th. A Hamas official says they'd free all Israeli captives in Gaza in exchange for 6,000 Palestinian captives in Israel. October 17th. A Hamas official tells NBC News that they'd release all of their Israeli civilian captives if Israel agreed to stop bombing Gaza. October 28th. Hamas's leader in Gaza offers to release all of the Israeli captives in Gaza in exchange for all of the Palestinian captives in Israeli prisons. This proposal, more commonly known as All for All, was a demand widely adopted by Israelis protesting against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. November 17th. Qatari negotiators propose a deal where Hamas will release 50 Israeli captives in exchange for a 3-day ceasefire. Hamas agrees to the general outline of the deal. Israel refuses. January 2nd. Hamas proposed a 3-phase deal where Hamas releases 40 Israeli captives in exchange for a gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza and the release of Palestinian captives. In the last phase, Israel would end the war and Hamas would release all of its Israeli captives. Israel rejected this offer. January 18th. Members of the Israeli government make a proposal to Benjamin Netanyahu to reopen negotiations with Hamas. He refuses. January 22nd. Israel rejects a deal where Hamas would release Israeli captives in exchange for the release of Palestinian captives, a withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, and accepting Hamas's leadership in Gaza. February 7th. Hamas proposes a 3-phased, 4.5-month ceasefire, where in the first phase, Hamas would release all women, children, ill, and young male Israeli captives in exchange for the release of Palestinian women and children being held captive in Israeli jails. In the second phase, adult male captives on both sides would be exchanged, and then in the third phase, remains of the dead and an end to the war. March 15th, Hamas offers to release Israeli women, children, elderly, and sick captives being held in Gaza in exchange for 700 to 1,000 Palestinian captives in Israeli prisons. And most recently, yesterday, Hamas offered to participate in a proposed 3-stage deal where in the first phase...
That's all, and that right there, my friends, this conflict could have been over with 11 times since the October the 9th to most recently May 7th of last year. Conflict could have been over with right now, but we dragged it out for this long over some bull crap. Really. This conflict could have been over with, but hey.
Deeply honored to receive from you, Egypt's highest state honor, the Order of the Nile. The Nile is so beautiful, so magnificent. It's such a beautiful title, the Order of the Nile. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Appreciate it. Great honor. I also want to give a very special thanks to the Emir of Qatar, a man who's outstanding. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, long before politics, and he's a fantastically respected man. His Highness Sheikh Tamim is respected by everybody. He's respected by everybody in the most positive way, not only because of power, because of his heart. He's got a tremendous heart, and he's a great leader, and his country loves him. Thank you very much for being here. It's an honor. Let me also express our condolences to the Qataris on the tragic car crash that claimed the lives of your cherished diplomats, some of whom were known by our people, and they were supposed to be incredible people. So please extend our sorrow and best wishes. That was tough. That was really tough. On this extraordinary occasion, I also want to give our sincere thanks to President Erdogan of Turkey. He's always there when I need him. He's such a tough guy. He is tough as you can be, but we love him. And when they have a problem with you, they always call me to handle it. And usually I come through. We just have a good relationship, and we have from the beginning. And so I want to thank you very much and say hello to your wife, your beautiful wife. And it's great to be with you. Always there. When I need him, he's always there. Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I also want to thank, I just spoke to him on the phone, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed, Saudi Arabia, a special friend of mine. Boy, he's come so long and so far, and he's doing a fantastic job for his country. And I want to just thank him. And His Highness Sheikh Mohammed of the United Arab Emirates is here. Where? He's here someplace. Well, oh, he's not here. but he's here in spirit, I can tell you that. And he's been another one. He's been absolutely incredible, and we appreciate it very much. And His Majesty King Abdullah of Jordan, and thank you very much, King Abdul of Jordan. He's here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you really have been a great help. We appreciate it. Appreciate it. Prime Minister Sharif of Pakistan, and also I have to say my favorite field marshal from Pakistan, who's not here, but the Prime Minister is here, and you're going to give his regards. Where are you? There you go. Thank you very much. Do you want to say what you said?
Yeah, it's funny he brought him up, and now Pakistan's in a conflict with Afghanistan. There's no peace right now going on with Pakistan right now in Afghanistan. Literally. The conflict's still ongoing right now. I might do a coverage on that too as well this week.
The other day, and come, would you like to say what you said the other day? I think it was so nice. Please.
Thank you very much, my dear President Trump, my dear brother President Fath el-Sisi of Egypt, Majesties, Highnesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum.
I'm going to post some more clips tonight too as well. I'm going to get this clipped up too as well and post it tomorrow. I'll post up some clips. Might not have enough time to stay up and pre-record it tonight. I might just get home tomorrow and just I might stream tomorrow. So I might have time to stream tomorrow, depends. Or if I might just have to just do the recording, come home and hurry up and do it, and just post it afterwards.
And a very good evening. Well, I would say today is one of the greatest days in contemporary history, because peace has been achieved after untiring efforts led by President Trump, who is genuinely a man of peace, who has relentlessly and untiringly worked throughout these months, day in and day out, to make this world a place to live with peace and prosperity. I would say that Pakistan had nominated President Donald Trump for Nobel Peace Prize for his outstanding, extraordinary contributions to first stop war between India and Pakistan, and then achieve ceasefire along with his very wonderful team. And today, again, I would like to nominate this great president for Nobel Peace Prize, because I genuinely feel that he is the most genuine and most wonderful candidate for Peace Prize, because he has brought not only peace in South Asia, saved millions of people, their lives, and today, here in Sharm El-Sheikh, achieving peace in Gaza is saving millions of lives in the Middle East. Mr. President, I would like to salute you for your exemplary leadership, visionary leadership, and I think that you are the man this world needed most at this point in time. The world would always remember you as a man who did everything, went out of the way to stop 7 and today 8 wars. I would like to thank my very dear brother, Sheikh Tamim. He's Akh al-Shaqiq, who has really worked very hard along with others to achieve peace in this region. My very dear brother, President Tayyip Erdogan, His Majesty, King Abdullah, and of course my very dear brother, Mohammed bin Zayed of UAE, and of course my very dear brother, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. And he has also been very, very helpful and contributed very valuably in this wonderful peace process. Ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't want to take more of your time. Suffice it to say, had it not been for this gentleman, not only, who knows, India and Pakistan are both nuclear powers. Had he not intervened along with his wonderful team, during those 4 days, the war could have escalated to a level, who would have lived to tell what happened? And similarly, here in this part of the world, in the Middle East, Mr. President, your valuable contribution along with President Sisi, I think history will remember in golden words. I wouldn't say more, except God bless you, God give you long life to serve like this for all time to come. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Very kind.
Thank you. Wow, I didn't expect that. Let's go home. There's nothing more I have to say. Goodbye, everybody. That was really beautiful and beautifully delivered. Wow, thank you very much. Also with us is President Prabowo, a very incredible man, of Indonesia. President, come in. Great job. President Abbas of the Palestinian Authority. See, we have them all. We have them all. Great, great. Good to have you. And so many others. I really have a list here. This first 3 rows and what's standing behind me, I don't know why they chose to stand, but that's there. They're going to be very famous tomorrow, all of them. We have the Arab League is represented by His Excellency, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much. We have Armenia, and Azerbaijan. That's a little war that we stopped. That's a little war. There they are. Look at them. They're sitting. When I met with them, it was in the Oval Office. They fought for like 31 years or some crazy number. And they had one sitting on that side of the Oval Office, one sitting. By the time we finished in 1 hour, they were both hugging each other. And now they're friends and they're getting along great. Look at it. So I want to thank you both. That's incredible. Really incredible. So you have Armenia and you have Bahrain. You have Canada. It's so great to have. In fact, the president called and he wanted to know if it's worthwhile. He knew exactly what it was. He knew the importance. Where's Canada, by the way? Where are you? Where are you? He knew the importance of this. He said, I want to be there. So many people have done that. They called. I mean, they heard about it. And these are not people that can do that very easily. They have pretty big schedules, to put it in mind. The most powerful people. And I appreciate you being here very much, Mr. President. Fantastic. Fantastic. And Cyprus, Egypt, the European Union, it's a lot of countries. France, thank you very much, Emmanuel. I would imagine Emmanuel standing someplace behind me. Where is he? I can't believe it. You're taking a low-key approach today. He's my friend. That's great. Good job. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. In Germany, the new Chancellor of Germany he's easy to spot because he's very tall and he's very smart and he's doing a fantastic job for his country. Appreciate it very much. And congratulations, a big election. That was a big one. That was going to change things. Greece, we have Greece. We have Hungary. Oh, Victor, where's Victor? Victor. We love Victor. Victor, I call him. You know, I put the little accent on it. You are fantastic, all right? I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I'm the only one that matters. You are fantastic. He's a great leader. I endorsed him the last election he had, and he won by 28 points. So you're going to do even better this time. You have another election, and you're going to do great, and we appreciate it. And we're behind you 100%. That's Hungary. India.
All right, about to close out soon. So once we get through on this final speech, I am about to close out and get some sleep. I got to work.
Is a great country with a very good friend of mine at the top, and he's just done a fantastic job. And I think that Pakistan and India are going to live very nicely together, right? That's not a very... They are. And the two great, I tell you, leaders, great leaders, as far as I'm concerned. Indonesia, we covered, and I just want to say that that's a big country, a powerful country. It does unbelievably well, and it's great to have you. Iraq, we have Iraq with lots of oil. They have so much oil, they don't know what to do with it. That's a big problem when you have so much, you have no idea what to do with it. So thank you very much. Italy, we have a young woman who's, I'm not allowed to say it because usually it's the end of your political career if you say it. She's a beautiful young woman. Now, if you use the word beautiful in the United States about a woman, that's the end of your political career, but I'll take my chances. Where is she? There she is. You don't mind being called beautiful, right? Because you are. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it. She wanted to be here, and she's incredible, and they really respect her in Italy. She's a very successful politician. We have Norway. Oh, Norway. Oh, yeah, Norway. What happened, Norway? What happened? Where's Norway? Where is he? We have Johnny. We're going to the World Cup, I can tell you that. Where's Norway? I don't think he wants to stand. Oh, he's back there. Yeah, we have Norway. Oman, again. We have Paraguay. We have a really fantastic representative from Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what, and this time we'll get you the best seat. He always gets the best seat. He deserves the best seat. But what a great place it is. Spain. Where's Spain? Are you guys working on him with respect to the GDP? We'll get close. But fantastic job you're doing. And UAE, which is great. United Kingdom. Where's United Kingdom? Where's my friend? Come here. Is everything going good?
Very good.
It's very nice of you here. These people all came in like 20-minute notice, and I think it's fantastic. And we have so many others, and just so many others. And it's such a compliment to what we're doing, because what we've done is something very unique and very special. So it's perhaps the wealthiest and most powerful group of nations ever assembled at one time, which is a big thing. We have achieved together in recent days a change that really is historic, and it's going to be remembered forever. And I want to thank the American team for their amazing work, and I think he'll go down as the greatest Secretary of State in the history of our country. I really believe that, Marco. I wouldn't say it. Marco Rubio, I wouldn't say it. Yeah, maybe I would. You're doing a great job. I'll tell you, he's on course to do it. We've done a lot of work in 9 months. We've done a lot of work. I say that, 1 year ago, a little more, but 1 year ago, America, the United States of America was a dead country. The king told me, and I use that, He said, sir, 1 year ago it was a dead country. Today you have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and it is. It's the hottest country. So many investors are here. We have over $17 trillion being invested in the United States, which is a record that nobody has ever beaten. I don't think anybody will. And we still have 4 months to go before it's a year. So in 8 months, we have over 17 trillion. We're actually very close to $18 trillion. There's never been, as an example, the previous administration had less than $1 trillion over 4 years. We have, we're close to breaking $18 trillion in 8 months. That's pretty amazing. No country's ever done that. I want to also thank Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and my son-in-law and a great guy, Jared Kushner. And I even have my daughter here, Ivanka. Ivanka, please stand up. Ivanka's here. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Ivanka. We have a great team, and we have, as you know, General Raisin Kane, we have John Radcliffe, we have Tom Barrack, we have really a lot of good talent. We have Pete Hegseth, who's now Department of War as opposed to Department of Defense. We made a little change. Somehow I like the name better, so do you, so do a lot of people. But the momentous breakthrough that we're here to celebrate tonight is more than the end of the war in Gaza. It's with God's help. It'll be the new beginning for an entire beautiful Middle East. From this moment forward, we can build a region that's strong and stable and prosperous and united in rejecting the path of terror once and for all. We want to get rid of the terror and get on to other things. There are many other things in life that are so good. The final sprint to this deal began less than 3 weeks ago on the sidelines of the United Nations in New York. I met with many of the people in this room, and it all just started coming together. I've known so many of you for so long. You're friends of mine. You're great people. I have a couple I don't like in particular, but I won't tell you who. I have actually a few of them I don't like at all, but you'll never find out who they are. Well, maybe you will, come to think of it. But I have most of you who I like a lot, and I respect a lot. Maybe that's more important. We listened, and we exchanged ideas, and we kept pushing forward until the job was done, and the first steps to peace are always the hardest. And today we've taken them, and we've put them all together, and we've come up with this beautiful mix like nobody thought was possible. And as you know, I've just come from Israel. It was an amazing day to watch the hostages come in and to watch all of the other things and do all of the other things that we did. And like all of us here this evening, the Israeli people are overjoyed that the war has ended. Many of you have had dancing in the streets. They had dancing in the streets. And they've been dancing for weeks now once they heard about this and they heard that it was even a possibility. They're elated at the arrival of the hostages and excited to begin this new chapter for the entire region, and it's going to be that, and they are going to be great partners, and I hope everybody's going to join the Abraham Accord. I like to say the Avraham. I love Avraham, but somehow it doesn't sound as good when I say it as it does when some of my other friends say it who are from the region. But we're going to get a lot of people joining the Abraham Accords. We have the 4 great nations that did it early on, and they stayed with it. And then you had the Biden administration, which is the worst administration in the history of our country, and obviously they did nothing of that and anything else.
He always managed to keep throwing shots at the Biden administration.
So it stayed at 4, and now a lot of people, even today, they're talking about all joining up. So many people have talked to me about that, and it's going to be a great tribute to really the United States. I mean, the United States has worked very hard in the Middle East, so it would be a tribute to us and to Jared and to Steve and to all of the people, Marco, all of the people that have worked so hard on that. And it really is going to guarantee that it all stays together. You're going to do well, because the 4 nations do very well. I mean, they do extremely, they're wealthy, but they're a lot wealthier because of it. So I hope everybody's now joining up. Now we have no excuses. We don't have a Gaza, and we don't have an Iran as an excuse. That was a good excuse, but we don't have that anymore. All the momentum now is toward a great, glorious, and lasting peace. And our commitment to fulfilling the 20-point plan we developed together will be the crucial foundation for achieving that bright future. And it's being worked on right now as we speak. And we're actually in stage 3 and 4. It's not going to be, just divided down so simply. We can be long advanced on some of the things that we say we're going to do. We can take them out of order in a positive way. And we've shown how it can be done with responsible nations like the people in this room, these incredible people in this room, setting aside their differences, seeking common ground, and pursuing a better world for all of us. And that spirit's my dream, that we all get together and enjoy our life. And we're going to put some of you on the board of peace. Everybody wants to be on the board of peace. They said, would you be the chairman? I say, I'm pretty busy too. But whatever we can do to have peace in the Middle East, it's worth it. But everybody wants to go on the board of peace, so we're probably going to enlarge it. We're going to get, and the leaders, the top people, the top leaders, they want to be on the board of peace. A beautiful term. At first I wasn't sure, and then I realized how beautiful it is. And for the people of Gaza, the focus now must be on restoring the basics of a good life. We're going to have a lot of money coming into Gaza and a lot of rebuilding and building. It's not so much rebuilding, it's really building. Cleaning up and building, and I'm pleased to announce that numerous countries of great wealth and power and dignity have come forward to me just today and over the last week to say they want to help in the reconstruction of Gaza, putting up whatever money is necessary. And the money is, of course, it's a lot of money, but it's not much compared to the value or the wealth of these tremendous countries. And they are ensuring stability and success in the Middle East. So when you think about it, it's a very, very small amount of money is necessary, relatively speaking. And as those commitments are made, I'm going to let the world know who is doing it, because they really deserve great credit for doing it, and they're going to do something that's really monumental. This is a monumental day. This is a monumental moment in the history of the world beyond the Middle East. We've all agreed that supporting Gaza must be done to lift up the people themselves, but we don't want to fund anything having to do with bloodshed, hatred, or terror. as has happened in the past. And for the same reason, we're also agreed that Gaza's reconstruction requires that it be demilitarized and that a new, honest civilian police force must be allowed to create a safe condition for the people in Gaza. As I said earlier, I intend to be a partner in securing a better future. We're going to be working, you're going to be working with the United States, and we're going to make sure that the Middle East is going to be a safe and secure place. It's a very important place in the world, it means so much. There were so many people who said the Middle East, and this has been going for many, many decades. I've read it many times, that World War III will begin in the Middle East. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There was a time that you would have thought it could have, but it's not going to happen. There won't be World War III, hopefully at all, but it's not going to start in the Middle East. We're not going to have a World War III if we're smart. There'll never be a World War III. Our work begins right here and right now. From ancient times, this region has been extraordinarily mixed with respect to people, culture, religions, all of the different elements of national characters, unlike maybe anywhere else on earth. And for 3,000 years, there's been conflict. For whatever reason, there's been tremendous conflict, always conflict. But today, for the first time anyone can remember, we have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to put the old feuds and bitter hatreds behind us. And that's why so many people in this room, they didn't get along. Some did, some didn't, but they're getting along now. This has brought the people together. This is the first time the Middle East crisis has brought people together as opposed to driving them apart. And to declare that our future will not be ruled by the fights of the generations past, which is foolish. So together, let us continue in the spirit of cooperation and goodwill that has finally brought us to this incredible, historic breakthrough. If we do, together, we will reach the Middle East's incredible destiny, a safe and prosperous and beautiful crossroads of culture and commerce, faith and humanity, and geographic center. This will be the geographic center of the world. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank you all for what you've done and for this quick notice. It all came together just at one little period. It just came together. It's the greatest deals happen that way. If you do anything about deals, that's all I've done all my life is deals. The greatest deals just sort of happen. And that's what happened right here. And maybe this is going to be the greatest deal of them all, not just nation building, not just having to do with this or the political whims. This will be maybe the greatest deal of them all, period. And I want to thank all of you and all of these great nations and this region for what it's gone through and all of the fights it's had, or life over death and hope over strife and harmony over hatred. That's what we want. We want it to be that way because together we're going to forge a magnificent, great, and enduring peace. I want to just end by saying God bless you all. God bless the Middle East. God bless your countries. And God bless you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. So if we could ask the media to leave, and we're going to have a little conversation with all of these great leaders, which will take 5 minutes, and we'll just talk for a couple of minutes. But if we could ask the media to leave, would be great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's that right there. So we've pretty much covered everything we need to cover right now in this piece. Still, the only thing that's left to do now is to wait and see what happens. That is the only thing to do right now is wait, see what happens, see if this deal holds up and this leads to grander passage for the Palestinian people. Hope so it does. You know, in the name of Allah, I hope this does lead to a greater prosperous pathway to statehood for them. So this endless cycle of violence really stop, because it's never going to stop as long as they're military occupied. Not this whole peace deal, regardless of how it looks and regardless of how it's constructed up, as long as a military occupation is still going on, there will never be peace, regardless of whatever deal happens. Because at some point you would just have the conflict just come right back. So, but I digress. So I want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. No, the stream didn't have no problems tonight. We managed to make it to the whole stream. No problems, no nothing. So, but anyways, make sure you smash the like button, hit the comment section. Let me know how you think about tonight's stream. I just looked down at my subscriber count. Whoa, 149. Bam. Give myself a clap for that. So, but anyways, yep. And make sure I did not bot it. My hands were up the entire time. I was watching the whole thing. Well, besides me being on my phone. But I digress. Tonight's a great night. I'm going to leave off on a good note. So I'm going to get out of here, but I want to thank everyone for joining tonight's stream. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Possibly. I might stream, or I just might pre-record it and just upload it. So, anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow for sure. I will be back. I won't be gone for an entire week again. I will be back tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night. See you guys tomorrow.